I'm going to say something that's going to be very different than I think what most people would say on a panel. But I'm literally coming as a rabbi from Judea, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Jewish people to the nations. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. There is a concept that is thrown around that's called Judeo-Christian values. But the truth is, no one really knows what that means, because what are Jewish values? There are liberal Jews, there are conservative Jews, and there's liberal Christians and progressive Christians and conservative Christians. So really, what is that? The Christian world is really pulled into two directions. It's a mixture between Rome and Judea. And what the world needs are Judean-Christian values. And so what does that look like? That looks a lot more Hebrew. It looks a lot more Jewish. Let's take the 10 Commandments seriously. Now, I didn't know Charlie Kirk, but since his assassination, I've watched hours of his talks.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 17 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 18th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. As a child growing up in Chicago, Skokie, Evanston, Illinois area, I wondered how we got there. And why was it necessary to leave Odessa, Russia, and eastern Romania? 2 days ago, I questioned AI Grok about what was going on there using our last names of families, Gersteins and Weinbaums. I was pretty shocked at the pre-Holocaust data. Jews, all of us thrown out by Romans in 60 to 70 AD with certain exceptions. 600,000 Jews were murdered back then, quite a few for that time, 60 to 70 AD. And 1900 years later, in just the areas of Odessa and Romania, eastern Romania, the pogroms sponsored sporadically by Christians, gangs, to murder and rape close to 800,000 Jews, all this in an area small enough to almost be ignored by the 6 million murdered and raped a little later by the Nazis and the Christians who cooperated with them. And now, in this anti-Semitic time, they are back at it again. The only thing stopping them are God, his Jewish country Israel, and Donald Trump. Christians, don't desecrate your love for Jesus, who prayed to God right up to his death when he said on the cross, "Why do you forsake me, Father? Save yourselves by saving Israel," and I can almost guarantee you that Jesus will approve.
He actually promoted Shabbat. He promoted Shabbat for Christians because it's number 4 in the top 10. Christians will fight for it to be in the courthouse. They'll fight for it to be in the classrooms in Texas. They'll fight for the 10 commandments because everyone that believes in God would honor the 10 commandments. What about honoring Shabbat? And it's like, well, I don't know what it was. What's the number 4 in the top 10? And so I think Christianity in some ways needs to make a revolution. And what's a revolution? It's when it goes all the way around, all the way back to the beginning. And the beginning was in Judea. The beginning was right next to my home in Bethlehem. And Shabbat, the Torah, it is to embrace what it is to be Jewish. It's to embrace the Jewish roots of Christianity.
Okay, we're here, and my little wifey is here. Did I say that wrong? You're not a little wifey, are you? You're a cute little wifey.
I'm fairly little.
That's right.
And I am your wife. So
okay, you're getting mad at things that I call you, and I want to be very, very
yes, the rage
courteous.
is unbearable.
Yeah. Okay, we got JP Maxwell over here. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'll get in trouble. JP Maxwell's over here. Hi, JP. How you doing? And you got Rick Henderson out there in Salem, Missouri. Did all the clips and the bits. Hi, Rick and Bev. And we have some guests here. We have one waiting, and I'll get to him right away. JJ Bradshaw. He's going to be on after Rabbi Moshe, who is staring at me saying, "Why the hell aren't you getting to me?" We've got the McCloskeys. We have them at 10:30. It's all mixed up here. And we got Richard C. Jeffrey and a guy named Chris Reed. And so we got a newbie or two, and we're going to have a great show today. So please, let's get on with the rabbi. Ladies and gentlemen, he is calling me from. Are you calling from Israel?
No, I'm in New York.
Oh, New York. We can stay all morning then, can't we? Are you sitting in Mandavi's office? That's what I want to know.
No. He doesn't read books.
How do you know? Maybe he's read books that you don't know about.
Okay.
Rabbi comes. He comes to Rolla, and he came this last Sunday. He's now. I thought he was back in Israel, but he's not. He's in New York naturally. He raises money for IDF widows and their kids. Please welcome all the way from New York City. He's a big shot, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. No more ceasefire in Lebanon. 12 IDF soldiers wounded in Hezbollah. What's going on?
Oh, well, there still is a ceasefire. Why should that have to do with anything?
I thought wait a minute. I thought there was no more ceasefire because they're getting shot at by, they're not ceasing fire, are they?
Yeah, but what does shooting have to do with the ceasefire? You can still have a ceasefire and still be shooting at each other. That's how it works in the Middle East.
Okay, I'm a little lost there, but I guess I understand your condensation towards me. Thank you very much.
It's
and toward the world. Condensation. Yeah, you're like conning me into thinking that there's a ceasefire when there isn't one.
The way ceasefires work in the Middle East or with Israel is that Israel agrees to a ceasefire, then they continue shooting at us.
Okay,
that's how it works. We have a ceasefire with Hamas, but Hamas keeps shooting at us.
I'm a little slow, but I'm going to get slower as we go along. So let's get on with it. Yes, you can tear me down if you like.
So the Middle East, it's not the Midwest; it's the Middle East, and the Middle East has different rules than the Midwest. The logic doesn't apply.
Well, what about like Minneapolis? Is there a ceasefire in Minneapolis? Hell no. Okay, so the activists en route to Israel, Greta is coming there, and I'm surprised you're not going to be there to greet her. She wants all the best for whatever she wants. So what's going on with that? She's there with 175 of her besties right there.
Well, we stopped the flotilla. They were on their way to bring aid to Gaza, but meanwhile, there was no aid on any of the ships. So
This is screwy. Everything you're telling me is opposite of what I'm thinking.
well, yeah. Well, they're not coming really to deliver aid, of
So
course.
why are they there?
And the Israel Navy stopped them, and they said, "Well, they announced if you would like to deliver aid, there are proper channels to do so." And what Israel has around Gaza is a legal blockade. There is such a thing as a legal blockade according to the rules, the Geneva Convention, which I don't even think Israel has signed on to that anyhow. But it is a legal blockade, and they are trying to illegally force their way into Gaza with ships. It would be like, imagine 100 ships approaching the shore of the United States and deciding that they don't care about immigration rules, they don't care about anything, and they're just going to dock in New York and get off the boats. Of course, the United States Navy would stop them, and as they should, and Israel stopped them as we should. You cannot have 100 plus foreign boats showing up on the shores, doing whatever they want, circumventing the laws, and so Israel stopped them. And
didn't you ever hear of a party cruise?
Well,
Come on, there's 175 of those young people there.
Yeah,
they're selling out on prophylactics.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're delivering condoms to Gaza.
Yeah, well, it could be.
I don't know.
Let them party. What do you need? What the hell? They're just kids. So the U.S. House is to consider Hassan Piker. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Candace Owens for anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And my question here is, why was Tucker Carlson left out?
Oh, because he won last year, Anti-Semite of the Year. You can't win twice, I think.
Wow. I thought he just started up within the year, but what do I know? That's why I talked to the rabbi. I don't know anything. So Rabbi Moshe's nickname is now 2 shows in St. James, Missouri. Two shows, Moshe. We had 2 shows on Sunday, didn't we?
2 shows.
Yeah, we had one inside, one outside. That doesn't.
Okay.
Hey, give me a break.
Took me a second. I got you.
Okay, I finally threw you off balance instead of myself.
Yeah, it took me a second, but I'm with you.
Okay, tell us about that. What happened there?
Yeah, so I was speaking at very nicely at the City of Life and Light, and people were enjoying. And suddenly,
the church, by the way, you can say the word church here.
Yeah, City of Life and Light Ministries, Pastor Pat Maxwell.
Yeah.
So we were, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 minutes in, and a young fellow turns out, he's about 25 years old, I think, and he gets up. I wouldn't quite say he was heckling, but he had his opinions, and it was inappropriate time for him to get up. I welcome questions. I welcome to be challenged, even, but not at that moment. He stood up and he starts to.
He took over the show, is what he did.
He started to, try to give a little speech. We gave him a little leeway because I was hoping that he was just going to ask a question, but he starts going on, and so he gets escorted out of the building. And I tell him if he hangs around at the end, I'm happy to talk to him. So, of course, everyone's concerned. So we had to call the police just to make sure he wasn't armed or anything like that, because there has been shootings in churches and attacks at synagogues. So I guess it was the Rala police or St. James, I don't know who he was from, came.
It was a sheriff department.
Yeah. And a very nice guy came.
Yeah.
And he spent some time with this fellow outside while I finished my talk. And
yes, did I?
Yeah, as did Dave. And the officer came in and said he seems to be harmless. So after my talk, I went outside and we had a chat. And I think,
and then everyone else from inside came outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we got through to him a bit, Dave. I think
you did. I think he's just a troubled person The trouble people do things sometimes that, especially in this day and age, that are crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, he was a very nice guy. I enjoyed chatting with him, but he needs some guidance, and he was
a big guy, wasn't he?
What's that?
He was not a shrimp. He was a big guy.
He wasn't a small guy, but and he seemed to genuinely be looking for a conversation for some guidance, and so all's well that ends well, and
like everything that ends around here is the last thing he said is, "You're Dave Weinbaum? Oh, I used to work for you in St. James." Everybody I see, everybody I have a confrontation with is, "You're Dave Weinbaum? Oh yeah, I used to work for you. Look at my wife over here.
Right.
What did you used to do?"
I worked for you.
That's right. There you go. There you go. All right.
Not that you're
now you work for her, Dave.
Yeah, you better believe it. She's got me washing dishes, and she hasn't got me on the yard work yet, though. I disappear to the golf course when that happens.
Wait, so, Dave, did that guy actually work for you?
Well, he had no reason to lie. I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't hear him say that. That's funny.
He said it. Somebody said my name and says, "You're Dave Weinbaum."
That's funny.
I've ended several fights like that I was going to be in, like him. I thought I was going to have to fight the guy, and I was looking at his pockets to make sure he wasn't armed, or that I could be quick enough to maybe stop it. Anyways, a quarter of Americans and nearly one half of youths support Hamas. Harvard Harris poll. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why they call them now the poison ivies. It's a very, very lazy way of thinking, because they see the ridiculous propaganda that's lie after lie after lie, and then they just buy into it without any any sense of digging into the lies and trying to understand the situation. So you have a generation of young people who they're like brain dead, and when it comes to other things, they're quite clever, quite smart, but when it comes to this, they just buy into all the lies. And
well, they sure have shut down the actual reason why Israel was at war with Hamas, which was they were in a ceasefire, and Hamas and the UN, and you had a great story about this, about how they actually screwed up on their attack of that day. But still, they came and killed a record amount of Jews, just about more so maybe than a day in the Holocaust.
Right, not more, but it was the largest. October 7th was the largest killing of Jews since the Holocaust. Like in Auschwitz, they killed 10,000 a day. But what was also, I lost my train of thought there. Forgot what I was going to say. Sorry about
that. So, all right. Well, let me.
This morning, I saw. I know you're following this guy, the Moderate Case. He's a very So he showed something that someone had posted, and they said the post was like this video saying this Israeli soldier. They took this Palestinian boy, and they're showing the soldiers holding him. It says, and then they killed him the next day, and so. The whole thing is suspicious. They would never do that. So the guy from the Moderate Case, he did a little of the research. He goes, this video is from 9 years ago. It's from 9 years ago. And what the story was that they took this kid because that kid had thrown a Molotov cocktail. Right. And they didn't kill him the next day. They returned him to his mother. And the whole thing's a lie. So you watch that video and you say, it's like that kid we met. I said to him, there's not a single video of showing IDF soldiers killing innocent people, women, children. And he's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, yeah, because these people, they take these videos and they just write whatever they want about it, and just saturated with lies. And
well, let's cover this. Play I think it's bit Jews Suffer MP3 for the rabbi, and maybe have a few comments about that.
Okay.
give you a chance to take a little nap, Rabbi, you know, because you look kind of tired being in New York and partying like you do.
It's already 9:20 here.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're awake at least. You got it? All right, hit it.
I grew up in a house divided, not politically, not ethnically, spiritually. My mother believed in God completely. Tradition, ritual, covenant. My father, a Holocaust survivor's son born just 3 weeks after the war, believed in Israel, but not in God. He couldn't reconcile Auschwitz with divine protection. To him, the covenant had shattered. So I grew up between two inheritances, a lineage of rabbis and sacred texts on one side, and a lineage of survival, nationalism, and trauma on the other. Kosher kitchen, Hebrew songs, but also questions no one could answer. Why didn't God stop it? Why does history repeat? Why are we still hated? I spent years trying to make it make sense. I told myself maybe the Holocaust led to a homeland. Then October 7th happened and the questions came back. Now my teenagers ask me the same things I once asked at the dinner table, and I don't pretend to have the perfect answers. But I know this. We are 0.2% of the world. We are still here. Something has carried us, and whether you call that God, destiny, or covenant, I refuse to believe it's accidental. Follow if you're still asking the hard questions.
Okay, you got any comments on that?
First of all, who was that? Do you remember? Do you know her name?
I don't remember. Does it say in there? No, just no.
Look, her question of why didn't God stop it is more of a question. You know, God can turn to man and ask the same question: why didn't man stop it?
Okay.
Human beings get involved. You know, it's like what's going on with Iran. 40,000 people killed on one weekend. You know, you can say, why didn't God stop it? But you know what? Man is stopping in. Man is supposed to get involved. You know, like Donald Trump is doing. You're the most powerful country in the world. You can't be the world leader and not act like a leader. So, you know, the questions more to me on God are natural disasters. You know, God isn't going to intervene and step in when human beings are killing human beings, when you can, you know, human beings have the ability to be involved. And that's all challenge and test of the world. But at the end of the day, the redemption of the world is not a straight line. It's not simple. It has ups and it has downs. And just like, you know, Jewish history has ups and downs, and you know, that's how it is. And I don't know why it's like that, but that's how it is. And
okay, one more clip here. Play number 3 there, the 3 clip.
But the Bible says towards this time in history, all of the nations are going to turn against Israel. There's a rise in anti-Semitism. There's a rise in anti-Semitism. This is tragic. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is exciting. There's a rise in anti-Semitism. The world is slowly actually aligning against us, exactly as promised in the Bible, as if we had any chance of stopping that. But what we can reach out to are the righteous among the nations that are also spoken about in the Bible. The people that really love God and love the Bible. We need to reach out to those righteous among the nations and say, we are aligning with Israel just like Ruth, the great grandmother of King David. Says, your people are my people. Your God is my God. Your lifestyle is my lifestyle. And our lifestyle is honoring the 10 commandments. So it's to push back while actually adopting a more Torah-oriented biblical life. That's the only way to save Israel. That's the only way to save Christianity, because without the Torah, without the Judean side of Christianity, then you're just left with Rome.
Yeah, that was Rabbi, I'm sure you know this guy, Rabbi Jeremy Gimpel.
Yeah, Gimpel.
Yeah.
I'm a very good friend of mine. He's a very, very good friend of mine. And our daughters were in school together. That's when I first met him many years ago. So, yeah, I'm very much in line with how he thinks. And I agree. You know, I heard that first clip. You said how Christians fight for the 10 commandments, you know, fighting. But the content of the 10 commandments is so important. You know, what it says in it. It's not just the right to display it, but it's the right to practice or to be in line with it. and that's what Charlie Kirk wrote the book, Stop in the Name of God, all about incorporating the Shabbat and how he did it into his own life. And it's not crazy. It's not a crazy idea. I know Christians are not obligated to keep the commandments of what they call the Old Testament, but the spirit of it, the spirit of the Old Testament is, it's the word of God. And so, when you talk about a Judeo-Christian ethic, so there has to be the Judeo part and the Christian part for the Christian believer.
Sure.
So, Jeremy, this has been his life work, him and his good friend Ari Abramowitz, the two of them. This has been what they do.
And by the way, Ruth, he talked about Ruth, the great-great-grandmother of King David.
That's right.
Is the name of my 3-month-old great-grandchild.
Wow. Did you know that, Dave, that Ruth in the Bible, she was known to be very, very good looking?
Yeah.
So they called her the Babe Ruth.
Oh, God. You're starting up already. This is just, that wasn't time for a joke. You got me sucked in there. Well, I guess that is time for the joke then. Pakistan opens land trade routes to Iran despite the blockade and their negotiations with America and Iran war. What the hell's going on there?
Well, it's wrong, but it's not surprising. These are countries, Pakistan as a negotiator.
Why are we having them then?
Because I think they're the only ones that could. Qatar also. These are countries that are oppressive regimes, and yet we allow Qatar and Pakistan to, as if they are peace-loving countries, to somehow get involved in mediation.
Well, it's right next to India. We like Modi there.
Yeah, we like India, but India's at war with Pakistan, basically.
Trump stopped that war.
Right, they're sworn enemies. Qatar we use to negotiate with Hamas.
Yeah,
because sometimes when you're dealing with the mud, you got to get in the mud. It's like. If you're trying to get out of the mud, your face gets dirty. That's so. The only ones that Iran or in the other example, Hamas is going to listen to is Pakistan or Hamas. So who's going to negotiate? Norway? It's like,
sure. Well, the Germans are ready to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we had a visit from King Charles and his lovely bride. And there's something to this, that there's a deep end towards NATO and the EU and the UN. There's a lot of messages going on there between Trump and the king over there. And it ain't just about tea and crumbles,
Yeah, it's interesting how, the same people, the left wing, the Democrats that marched in the No Kings protests, they were very happy to welcome a king, an actual king.
And by the way, today is King's Day, isn't it? No King's Day. I think they're celebrating that all over the country. It's May 1st.
Yeah, there's another protest.
And there's another protest.
I think
maybe it would help your business. They can go to there's no Burger King.
There you go. No, of course. I mean, anything that can help my business, I'm happy about. Not anything, but just about any thing that can happen in the news.
Yeah, they should boycott Burger King and go to McDonald's. Yeah, there's no Kings. Yeah.
They don't do much business here, but they do somewhere. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But lately they haven't done a lot of business. But we keep competing. We keep doing what we can do.
Yeah. And
every day we're out there fighting. So there you go. But I don't think I got an answer to that. But okay. So your book, Secrets of the Hebrew Bible. Now that's getting really relative, because language of what happened between God and Jesus is being discussed all over the world. Okay, it's just not a. It's a subject that you're hearing, and there's a lot of people who are mad at Jews for not becoming Christians, and that's been going on for a long, long time.
Okay.
And so, how do we measure that by getting the Christians and the Jews together, like you're doing all over the world?
Well, I think, look, Christianity is a religion that tries to reach out within their own communities and outside of their communities, trying to get people to become Christian or to believe in
Yeah.
Jesus, and that's what they do. Jews don't do that, so that's where like the tension lies.
Is it about the Moyle thing? You know, the circumcision that people. Yeah. Oh, hey, become a Jew. Wait. We have a scissors here, and we got to take care of something. Now, I can understand that.
Yeah. We don't actively go out to try to process. So that's where the tensions over the centuries have lied. Conversions, or even forced conversions, in eras like the Crusades and the Inquisitions, right, and the Spanish Inquisition, and so on.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. All Judaism wants is respect. We're like the Rodney Dangerfield of religions.
Yeah. No respect.
We just want some respect, and as Christianity's older brother, and we just want to be able to practice our faith,
Yeah.
and not feel that we are under pressure to be to switch our faith.
Will it ever be enough that this will happen? Because you're having great relationships with the evangelical Christians.
Yeah.
We're having a little problem with some of the others, though.
Yeah.
And they insist on.
I don't think we're gonna and I don't think we're gonna come to a resolution, because it is a fundamental tenet of Christianity, and I understand it is. So I don't think there's going to be a resolution where you're going to have all of Christendom deciding they're not going to try to convert people. Of course not. It's a very big part of their faith, and I understand that.
Well, define your sense of end of times. What do Jews believe is going to be the end of times, or do they believe that?
Right. So Jews believe it's really based upon deed, upon the way a person behaves, the way a person acts, not upon what they believe per se.
In Judaism, I figured that would be, how funny are you?
How funny are you?
Yeah. I think there's something there.
Well, I guess, and that could be a part of it. I mean, cheering people up is a good thing.
Yeah.
But they say that Judaism is a religion of deed, while Christianity is a religion of creed. That is that's the way they put it. That Judaism is about deed, is about very focused on how you behave and what you do, and Christianity is very focused on what you think and how you believe. Meaning, do you believe in Jesus? Do you believe he died for your sins? And that's a very big part of Christianity. So that it's not that Christians don't believe you should be good people, and it's not that Jews don't believe you have to have faith, but it's not necessarily the emphasis. So, so that's a major difference.
I'm going to let you get on with your day. You're in New York. You're going to a Mets game.
You
who's playing really good is the Cardinals. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
when I go to the synagogue, I wear a Mets shirt and a Jets hat, because that way I think God will have mercy on me.
That's a good one right there. So other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find and contribute and buy your book, Secrets of the Hebrew Bible?
.org. There it is on the screen.
There you go.
Grab yourself a copy.
Yeah. The most important job of an organ donor is to be well tuned. Did you know that? But boom. What do you know from funny?
What do you know from funny, you bastard?
Oh, you don't call a rabbi that. I'm so sorry. Listen, hi to everybody, and have fun in New York. And
Thanks, guys.
you know, go say hi to Mondovi and say you want to visit him. Tell him I sent you.
I will.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Just tell him my address. Thanks a lot, buddy. All right. That's the Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. There you go. And we don't have time for a commercial because we got at 8:05. We got JJ Bradshaw coming on, don't we? Yeah, which is great because I don't have to ask him any questions. You know, it's over with him. We got a newbie here, Chris Reed, coming on. He's a retired lawyer. I didn't realize you could actually do that. Retire from lawyering. I didn't think it was allowed.
I thought once a lawyer, always a lawyer.
Well, that's what I figured.
Usually they die in their offices, don't they?
Yeah, he's on the radio though. He's got a radio show. He'll be talking to us later. I've never met the guy. I've got look at this, right on time, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving. This is clockwork right here. It's clockwork, and this gentleman staring me in the face. He is a great man. He's an older man, 257 years old. He's a sharpshooter. He is he's in charge of the Justice Report right there. You know, I lost this for 2 weeks and I couldn't find it. Finally, I found it under stuff under my desk, and so he is he used to prepare the arguments for the Constitution. That's how smart he is. Way back when he was like 7 or 8 years old. So please welcome all the way from where the heck are you?
Well, I'm hiding in Iberia, Missouri.
Okay. Well, nobody, he was the security guard for the visit, and that was a kind of interesting visit with the rabbi, right? So he's going to be talking to us today. Please welcome John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. What's on your mind, buddy?
Oh, there's so much, Dave. There's so much stuff flying by this week. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with Rabbi Moshe. Always do, and Pastor Pat. That was a very nice time. Let's talk about things that are happening on our federal government. Oh my God, things are exploding there.
Yeah.
White House Correspondents' dinner. Donald Trump not particularly anxious to go to that thing when you consider that most of those correspondents don't much like him. And we had a guy that was intent on assassinating him. Secret Service managed to catch the guy. One agent ended up with a bullet in his chest plate. He's fine. I'm sure he's got a hell of a bruise in the middle of his chest. But they snagged this guy and drug him out of there.
Yeah.
And the mainstream media was screaming that, oh, my God, this is a failure of the Secret Service. Oh, my God, and wringing their hands. And in fact, these folks did exactly what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But
Trump made this an advantage to saying that his ballroom that he's building, that everybody's screaming about, which is being done with private money, mind you, is going to be great because it's going to be almost foolproof against this kind of attack.
It will be secure. And the argument about the White House Correspondents' dinner, let's face it, in the 1970s, it was no big deal. Security was fairly lax, but you didn't have crazy people trying to kill the president.
Well, you had at that same hotel, you had Ronald Reagan was shot.
Yes, indeed. So, the mainstream, of course, they lie to us. They misrepresent things. And if you think about it, for 76 days, the TSA, the Coast Guard, FEMA, Secret Service, ICE had no funding. So thank you, Democrats. By the way, been signed into law that we are funding those agencies. And
so what did they get out of this The Democrats, what did they get out of this? This is the second time in a row they set a record for shutting down the government.
Dave, in reality, they lost points over this. Chuck Schumer and his radical left-wing ilk decided to take a stand. They do this all the time, Dave. The question is, what hill do you choose to die on? And they end up dying on every hill. They stand behind these ridiculous, patently stupid moves. And if you look at the polling data, every time they do this, they lose points.
Not according to they take their own little polls. And if you believe the polls in 2015 and 16, you were told, well, Donald Trump can't win.
Yeah, this is going to be a landslide.
It's going to be a zero. He's going to be a zero. It's going to be a landslide, and we'll never see him again.
Yeah, I'm sure Hillary Clinton still rues the day that she read those polls and believed them. But you and I read polling data all the time.
Yeah.
And you got to pick and choose. There are polls that are reasonably factual, and there are polls that are way left-wing, loony, crazy.
Yeah.
Quinnipiac comes to mind, or a CNN poll. Dave, would you actually believe a CNN poll?
Well, the only thing I'm seeing lately no, I wouldn't. But the only thing I'm seeing is there's this guy on CNN who has a board, and he does say, Trump's killing everybody in this poll. Yeah. And he's mocking CNN. I wonder if there's a chance that a lot of these places are losing so much audience because nothing comes true and they're lying about everything, and they're nasty about it. They're nasty about not just the Trump family, but all of us MAGAs, Make America Great Again. Wow, that's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Donald, are you there? Yeah, he's there.
We must be traitors for believing that.
Yeah, I mean, so this is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And America has now been told what the choice is. It's Kamala against Trump. And they know Kamala is not up to that job. Give me a break.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Sure.
Speaking of the federal governments, our Congress actually did something that made sense this time. They did some funding, and they're going to fund ICE and the Border Patrol through reconciliation. That way they don't have to have 60 votes. They can do it on a simple majority. Yeah. Now, the question that I must ask is, why didn't you people do this 76 days ago? And the answer is, Chuck Schumer and his buddies absolutely wanted to make a point. And the point that they made is, we are losers. Look at us. We are losers.
Yeah, vote for us. Vote for us. This is all Trump's fault. All he had to do was, all he had to do was cooperate with us. And
this could have been cooperate with those lunatics, Dave? Of course not.
Well,
of course not. So it gives me a big old grin every day when I think that Donald Trump is beating these bozos at their own freaking game, and they're not smart enough to change course. Their entire scheme is Orange Man bad. Well, guys, you've been doing this for about a decade now, and it hasn't worked anytime ever. So
I think there's also a lot of them that are coming up for indictments, like Comey. And there's a lot of people being talked about right now that are going to have a problem here. Adam Schiff and people of that, even I don't know who else, but maybe even Newsom for ignoring all the billions of dollars in California that were being wasted.
Speaking of Comey, of course, this is his second indictment.
Yeah,
and the question comes to mind, and it's a question you and I asked a couple of years ago: is who rolls over first and testifies against his peers? I think they got got enough dirt on Comey to convict, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll pursue it well enough to convict. I think they're going to rely on him or some of his buddies to roll over and testify on the others.
I got a lawyer coming on later to talk about that, and from what I'm hearing, they don't have that 86 47 little pebbles on the beach.
On the beach.
It's not enough.
And of course, it's not enough.
So they got other stuff coming. Believe
That
me.
is there's a foolish
Russia thing is out there. Hillary's culpable. She destroyed all her email records for a while, and you're not supposed to be able to do that.
You know, I think they're going to have a hard time pursuing Hillary because her and Bill have got dirt on every single person in Washington, D.C. That is their mode of operation. If you look back when Bill was the governor of Arkansas, do you remember the Mena, Arkansas airport debacle? There was a bunch of people that were lined up to go to prison over that thing, and all of a sudden, all the prosecution went away. Wonder why that is. Well, because Hillary had dirt on everybody that would have been prosecutorial. So they're tough on. They're not going to be
tough, but you get a few. I don't know. I still don't know what happened to Bondi. That could have been her case too. Maybe they had something on her. I don't know. But this other guy looks like he's tough. I think he's checked out.
I was a fan of Bondi. I thought she did a pretty good job, just not fast enough. And apparently Trump thought not fast enough. Well, these things grind along slowly. There isn't a single lawyer that wants to go to trial without being assured he's going to win. You sure don't go in there half-assed and end up losing.
Well, you can lose whether you're half-assed or well-prepared too, depending on the judge and the jury and all that.
You want all of those stars lined up in your favor if you're a prosecutor. So, these things go slowly, and I'm willing to be a patient man and wait for that. Now, am I going to be pissed when another year goes by and nobody's been indicted, nobody gets a perp walk? I'm going to say the fix is in on this. Well, we'll see, won't we, Dave? I intend to be alive.
We'll see. And, the big problem is time. And that's what we've all been saying, that the big guy behind me should serve another 4 years, although I'm sure he does not want to. I think he wants to go back to golf.
But I think he has a Rubio or a Vance standing in the shadows that are certainly willing and capable of taking over and continuing the thrust that Donald Trump has started.
Which one do you favor?
The fact is, I like Vance, but I think Rubio is electable.
I think I like Rubio better. I think
way, especially I would take either one of them over Kamala any day.
Especially his relationship with this hemisphere, being in South America and Cuba and places like that, and he's going to organize them in such a way that they're probably going to be more states made, maybe even Mexico or something like that, or Cuba, to the United States. And
I think that door has been opened.
I think so. I think he's the guy to do it.
Very likely. Of course, politics is a strange game. You never know which direction it's going to end up going. But my kudos are to both those guys. Either one would be a fine president.
And either one of those guys would be very grateful if Trump would be the vice president.
Yeah, how about that?
And that's legal too, isn't it?
Our Supreme Court, SCOTUS, made a decision the other day that is going to have earth-shaking consequences, and that is the redrawing of congressional district maps by the states. There have been some pretty egregious things done, and lower courts have supported those egregious things that were done. And in this case, it struck down a Louisiana redrawn redistrict map because it was racially inspired. These things were intended by the founding fathers. And remember, I knew some of those guys. to be done by population only. That's why we have a census, and it was never intended, not ever, to be racially oriented. Well, Louisiana, California, Georgia, Florida, all have these redrawn maps that really smell suspiciously racial. And the SCOTUS came along and said, no, boys, we're not going to do that. This is going to be.
Well, what about Virginia? They just passed a law.
Yeah.
What about that? Talk about that a little bit, if you know.
Well, I'm afraid that Virginia's is going to be struck down. I don't think
You're
there's any question.
I'm afraid it won't.
What's that?
You're afraid of it? I'm afraid it won't be struck down.
No, I think it will be struck down. It has the racial smell all over it.
Yeah.
And if you look at their
cheating smell all over it too. A bunch of late ballots came in.
35,000 ballots just mysteriously appeared. This is going to be. SCOTUS is going to end up looking at this. There's no question about the election or the lack of election integrity. This is going to blow up in their face, Dave. These things are so blatant. Even the most ignorant person, the most uninformed, is going to look at this and say, wait a minute. I mean, come on, 35,000 ballots. You pulled these things out of a top hat. All of a sudden.
We didn't believe that back in 2020. I believed it. I believed it too. I thought it was a fraud from the get-go.
No doubt.
And by golly, we're right.
As an electronics guy, the Dominion voting machine scandal, there was never a doubt in my mind that could be tampered with. Everything that you do as a programmer, you always leave a back door in. You always leave a back door so that you can tweak things and make them better or steal an election. So there's no doubt in my mind. You and I are in complete agreement about that and have been for years that thing was stolen.
Sure.
Now that you've got some evidence, it was so blatant, and the mainstream media covered it up, and the federal government covered it up. The executive branch covered it up, just like they do all things in which they are complicit. You and I are being vindicated. Now we're just a couple of voices out here in the boonies, but we were right. We were right.
Well, but you know what? We're voices out here, but we're independent. We don't have bosses to tell us what to say and when to say it. Yeah, occasionally we get picked on by social media. We kind of have to sort of depend on them. I don't own a radio station, so I worked for a couple that had, and one of them, I'm pretty sure, fired me because I was questioning what was going on with the militant Muslims situation. And one day I'm starting for Rush Limbaugh, and the next day I'm out. That kind of thing. I mean, they love what I did until I didn't.
I think the Mahafis running you off was entirely political, and I'm sure they're not ashamed of doing that. What surprised me was that KKID took over your show, and KKID was kind of the hippie radio station here.
Yeah,
it was an amazement to me that they welcomed a conservative commentator in there. And boy, Stan Hines did a great job on that show. I enjoyed being on that show.
Well, he's still a friend. Even Steve is kind of, he said he's kind of apologized in a way about the way it was. It wasn't a political thing. It was a. He thought I was going to give him money to do something, to do some kind of a deal out in the middle of nowhere. And I told him, I told him I'd consider it, but I'm not going to do it. He said, well, you promised, and it's one of those deals. He said, where's the contract?
I know nothing about that, but
that was
you and I trust each other. We could do business on a handshake, not a problem.
Sure.
But anything else is going to require a written contract.
What I like to do. I feel like I can trust people, and they can trust me to follow through on what I'm going to do or say I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, that trust is a big deal. And we talked about not having bosses. My boss has scars on his wrists and his feet, and I follow what he has to
Yeah,
say.
right. Yeah, and I've been a boss, and I know what I like to see out of my people that work for me.
Mhm.
And I knew as an employee when I was in high school working at hot dog stands and pizza places and things like that, I know how to handle myself as a subservient person.
Mhm.
Even in baseball, I was an umpire in baseball, and I knew what to do and how to do it. And I had senior guys over me, senior umpires, and so I learned how to do that as a employee. And I like to think I can do both things. But once people decide they're going to control you for their means and not for the means of anything else, then it's time to go for me.
Yeah,
I've
I
been with
managed to
McDonald's
find
now
a
for
way to get away from that.
53 years. 53 years I've been with McDonald's. And
Yeah.
believe me, there's been a lot of fights between us. And
I
I'm still
remember when you opened the King's Highway store.
Yeah.
I was a young man, and so were you. And I was so thrilled to have a McDonald's in our town. And there you were with a couple of suits, I'm sure district type folks.
Oh, yeah.
And opening up this restaurant. Yep, I was there. I was going to school at the time at U of R, and was so pleased that we had something that was different than what was here in town. I mean, I like Made Right. I like Mr. Swiss, but hey, getting McDonald's in town was a big deal.
December 10th, 1975, opening day.
Yeah, I might believe
Imagine
that.
that?
Sure.
I'm here. I was there. I worked in McDonald's for a couple years in St. Louis. Had a father-in-law then that wanted me to work there, and I said, okay. He wanted me to be a little subservient. I said, look, I'm coming up here. I was selling insurance in Denver, Colorado. And I says, eventually I want to be an owner, He says, all right, well, we'll look at that. Okay, fine. Well, about a year and a half into that, McDonald's decided they didn't want him anymore.
Oh, well, surprise.
So they decided to give me a store. And I said, okay, so where am I, where? He said, well, how about, where do you want to go? I said, well, how about Chicago? Oh no, that's our headquarters. We got it all taken care of. Well, what about Denver, Colorado? And no, we got people there too. We got a store for you? And normally you would, after that, back out. But
Yeah,
Ray Kroc flew over Rolla, Missouri with his real estate guy, and Ray Kroc said, we want a store right there. And his real estate guy says, you're out of your mind, Ray. There's only 13,000 people living there. And Ray says, you heard me. I want a store. Nobody wanted it. Nobody in St. Louis, nobody in Jeff City, nobody in Springfield. And finally, they got it to me. And I says, the first words I said when I said, Rolla, Missouri, where's that? They said, oh, that's right. He says, well, I says, is there any Jewish people there? He says, yeah, there was one. No, I says, there was one. That's what they said. And I said, what happened to him? Oh, he died. I said, was it natural causes? Yeah. I said, there were no shovels or pitchforks involved in this? No, it's fine. So I said, I'll take a look. So I took a look, and I couldn't believe the opportunity this was, because it's right in the middle of the country. You're 2 hours out of St. Louis, 2 hours out of Springfield, and then you got Highway 63 from north to south.
And 2 blocks off the interstate.
What the hell am I missing here?
6 stores later, I'd say you were vindicated.
Yeah. I could have had a lot more stores, but they got somebody who would say what he thought. All right, listen, my friend, it's been a great time. Do you got anything else today? A closing shot?
I got a little parting shot for you, Dave. You know, the Strait of Hormuz has been closed up pretty tight by Donald J. Trump, which I think is the right thing to do. Brent crude, which is West Texas intermediate crude, hit $126 a barrel the other day, which is a new record. UAE, United Arab Emirates, has bailed out of OPEC. Now, what does this mean for the United States? We are a net exporter of energy right now and are destined under Donald Trump to be a major net exporter.
Or as he'll like to say, the world's gas station.
Bingo. Now, we're faced with $127 a barrel crude. We're faced with some high gas prices for a while, and I bet that happens through the rest of the year. But if you take the long view, and that's the view that I take, this is going to be a net positive for the United States of America. So, my friends, hang on a while. I know the fuel prices are high. This guy is going to lead us in the right direction. Dave, that's all I got. I enjoyed talking.
JJ, hi to Gene, and you have a great weekend, and thank you so much for being JJ Bradshaw and being on the Dave Weinbaum Show. Let's hear it for you. Thank you, JJ.
Good day.
Thank you. And that happens, my wife comes in. What's going on? And why are you sighing like something bad has happened?
The break was too late.
The break was too what? The break was too late?
The break was too late.
Oh my God. I don't understand what you're talking about. What break? You just got here and you're taking a break?
Yes. Yes.
I want that job. Don't you, JP?
You're behind schedule.
What do you mean I'm behind schedule? I'm right on schedule.
You haven't done your first commercial break.
We're going to do it right now.
It's very important.
Thank you. Would you like to introduce the first commercial? No.
No.
I can tell. See, I can answer for you. Okay, let's do our commercials and make sure you buy stuff where these commercials are. Thank you. We'll be back in a little bit. Bye-bye.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Rob Willis, an author and a writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Trout Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we're back on, and we're here. If you want to call the show, 573-578-2700, or...
you can also comment on our page on Facebook, X, YouTube, and on Rumble.
We got a couple of comments, don't we, so far? Or do we?
Yeah.
A couple. All right, let's read those right now. Patricia Oden Maxwell, official pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Sounding good, looking good. Go team. You know, your mother was like, she was like a one of the security guards. She was all over it. Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, of course, the one I miss, and there's so much fun.
Yeah, there you go.
My gosh, I missed everything.
Dang. Yeah, you almost missed me going into a fight with this guy. I was the first guy to get up there. And, you know, my wife says, what'd you do that for? I says, well, I'm trying to protect you. Right? What are you laughing about? That guy could have been armed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your defense?
I had none.
Exactly my point.
I had none. What are you going to do? Good morning from Happy Friday. Oh, they got this. Those people actually did that. Love you all. Have a beautiful and blessed weekend from Kathy Sanford Dillon. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. John Jeffrey Brad. And we got JJ Bradshaw. Good morning, Rabbi Moshe. It was great seeing you last Sunday. He was also there. And Patricia Oden Maxwell, yes, I agree, JJ. Was so good to see you again. Okay, you guys did a great job. Now they're talking amongst themselves. Karen Lewis. Good morning, Dave Weinbaum and Lisa Ann Weinbaum. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Steve Jackson is talking. Oh, thank you, JJ. That's terrific. Well, this is a pretty good group. It only shows 2 up there. That's pretty good. And we got about 5 or 6. Anyways, we have a phone call. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Adolph, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Adolph.
What a guess.
We're calling from the big town of St. Robert.
Yeah, and you had called. You were at the rabbi's appearance at the church with all of us. So, what did you think of that?
I thought that was absolutely terrific. You know how it's good to get a perspective of somebody who's actually there instead of the newscasters who kind of mush over everything.
Yeah, and he knows he knows pretty much everybody in government, and he knows all about the IDF, and so he knows what's going on. And
I think the most interesting comment he made, was about their government.
Yeah,
you know, they like he said, 50% of the people absolutely hate Netanyahu.
Yeah,
but 70 or 95 or
no, it's 93%
of the people love him as a spiritual leader and as a military leader.
Yeah, I think
what he's doing with Iran.
And a lot of what's going on with Netanyahu is just like Trump. There's a lot of lawfare going on, a lot of dumb ass things like he's being bribed and all this other stuff. And if you look at it, and if you listen to some people out there, there's no evidence to this stuff, or there's weak evidence, or it's like Donald Trump getting this gift from England, and he says, and Mondavi gets up there and says, well, you ought to give this back to the people who gave it to him. And this was done like 100 years ago or 200 years ago or something, as a gift to Great Britain.
In this country, I call it Trumpitis.
There's a definite sickness out there, and I think one of the ways they're trying to get around this is by shutting down the governments.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I believe that. So
without a doubt.
Yep.
It's sad, but what can we do at this point?
Yeah, well, I was good to see you. You look pretty healthy.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, it's good. Good to see Joanne and stuff.
Well, once I got off that chemo stuff, it's things have gotten better.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And I enjoyed seeing you, and hopefully we'll see each other again in the future.
Oh yeah. I plan on it. I got a couple of people that might be interested in advertising on your show.
Oh, cool. Let us know. Let me know, okay?
Yeah, I'll have them call your number during the week sometime.
You got my number, that's for sure. All right. Okay. All right, pal. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for calling on the Dave Weinbaum Show.
And thank you, and say hi to Lisa.
Oh, you can do that right now.
Good morning.
She's sitting right next to me.
Yeah, it's great to see you Sunday.
Oh yeah, it was good to see you.
Yeah. She did a pretty good job of bringing all the food and stuff like that.
I didn't bring all the food.
Well, you brought a lot of it.
Terrific.
I just helped set it out.
Okay.
Pastor Pat did all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I gave you more credit than you deserved.
You're going to get me.
But you did a lot of credit because you actually made sure everybody got fed. You see?
There you go.
You were watching people and saying, "Hey, would you like some of this?"
I was helping Pastor Pat and Shannon.
Yeah,
I bought all the food for the rabbi at home.
Right. Which we ended up taking part of that to the church, right?
Just to make sure we had
there you go.
Good
nothing
kosher options.
Nothing like a good kosher dill pickle.
Yeah, and I ate carrots for dinner one night.
Did.
Yeah,
and celery.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about last night, but I made it a good meal last night.
Joanne says hi.
All right. Take care.
Hi, Joanne.
Have a good one. Hi, Joanne. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye.
All right. Well, if you want to call the show like this gentleman did, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you whether you're you hate me or like me or whatever you want to talk about. I'll do it. But you just can't swear at people here, you know. And I've done that. And occasionally I'll say a swear word or two, but I don't condone it. And it just means that I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner. Okay, but I am generally a nice guy until you put me in a corner, and then it's not so nice. And I don't mean that to be a threat or anything, but hey, what are you going to say? What are you going to say, man?
I just wish I had been there for all the action. I just can't believe one time I'm not there.
You son of a gun.
This is literally the first time I've missed one of Rabbi's visits in years.
You son of a gun. Because I had to take your place.
I was ready.
I took your place. I went right to the guy. And so that nobody else could have contact unless he went through me.
Yep.
And I've had a lot of confrontations like that all of my life. And I've always discovered that the best way to avoid something like that is to walk right at it.
Yeah.
And see what they got, And if you need to run, then get the hell out of there. I've done that too. And then I've come back.
Yeah.
When I was ready, when I didn't think they were ready. So, it's pretty easy for me to understand that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what do we got here? We haven't done anything funny yet. How about that deal with Steve?
Paul Simon.
Yeah, Paul Simon. Let's do that. So we're going to play some funny stuff, will ya? Come on.
Of course, again, always a process as we get this prepared here.
Do. Hit it.
And he said, Steve, I'm so excited. I've just finished.
I like to automatically start playing it before I can get the volume set up.
There you go. There you go.
I remember one night many years ago, Paul called me. It was in the evening, and he said, Steve, I'm so excited. I've just finished a new song, and I just have to tell somebody. And I said, oh, great. What's the title? And he said, 47 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And I said, Paul, what if it were 50? 50 ways to leave your lover. And there was a long pause. And he said, go on. And I said, well, 50 has a nice ring to it, and 47 sounds a little awkward. And he said, but, I've got 47. I can't think of any more. And I said, make a new plan, Stan. And he said, 48. I said, don't need to be coy, Roy. Drop off the key, Lee. He said, okay, 50, great. Hey, thanks. And I'm sorry if I interrupted anything. I said, don't worry, I was just here cooking a chicken. And he said, oh, really, how are you preparing it? And I said, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And now look it up.
All right, we got another one coming up here that's really funny. You ever see these babies on reels? We got a couple of those actually on, and they're kind of funny and cute, and they're very entertaining. If you ever go on Facebook, don't just look for my stuff on that, and Twitter, by the way, and also on Spotify, which includes we got a caller. Who's that?
Oh, it's my mom.
Oh, okay. Well, put her on. Okay. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name, Pastor Pat, and what can I do for you?
Well, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you for their help and just their love and concern for everybody there Sunday. I thought it was just a great meeting.
Yes.
And I feel like that everybody was just enjoying each other, and yet at the same time we were protecting each other. And I just thought it was a great show of Christians and Jewish people together. And I don't know. I just thought it even brought us closer with everything that happened last Sunday.
Well, I thought you were going to run this guy over, the one that interrupted us.
If I needed to, I would have.
Yeah, well, you would have had to go through me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you were there too.
I was there.
We both ended up there about the same time, but I know I stepped over in front of the rabbi, and I know he's a man himself, and he can take care of himself. But I tell you, it was like you're going to have to go through us before you can get to him.
So which were I was playing the left guard, and you were the right guard, right?
Yeah.
So we had him surrounded. There's no doubt about it. So and he turned out to be he's a little nutty, but he wasn't there to kill anybody. He was there to make a point, and so it became okay.
Yes, I thank God for that.
Yes, me too.
But you never know. That's why you have to have quick response, because you just don't know what is in their mind and what is in their thoughts, you know.
Well, I'm a little bit paranoid. Am I paranoid, honey? Would you consider me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're paranoid, you start looking at things and you start asking yourself, "There's something wrong with this? Is there something that could happen?" And that's what I was sitting there thinking when and especially the way things are all over the world these days. It's not good for Jewish people, and it's not good for some other people too. Even some Christians are getting it. And look at all the Christians being killed in Africa.
I know.
It's incredible. So we got to stop this all over the world. So
yes,
I'll let you know when I do my world tour. You'll be on it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Left guard, right guard. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Pastor Pat. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys so much.
All right. Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. Well, let's play that other clip, or the other one. I mean, the other deal. The baby Trump. The baby Trump. Let's see the baby Trump. Okay. It's coming. Toot, toot. Yeah, I know. There it goes. Here it is.
But Americans are not struggling. This is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The freaking place is falling down. I noticed it keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. But Americans are not struggling. This is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The freaking place is falling down. I noticed it keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things.
Okay, how do they do this? I don't understand. How do they get? Did they get a recording from Trump, or just an actor to do it, or what?
I think what they do is they take his voice and then they just make a cartoon image like him.
Yeah,
with probably AI now or some kind of animation, and then they just dub his voice into.
But how do they get the words that sound exactly?
You
like
can do
him?
that with software now. You can.
Wow.
You can make it mimic. Yeah, it's.
Let's do our own.
Especially now with AI, it's crazy.
Yeah, let's do our own. Let's figure it out.
We were having a conversation with a couple last night. And it's, back in, I want to sound old, but back in my day, cheating on tests was, you would have a cheat sheet that your teachers had to watch out for that. Make sure you.
I don't know anything about that.
Right.
I have no idea what you're talking about that. But
now
go ahead.
They have to keep kids from cheating because they can ask AI. They can even give AI their math problem, and it will give them a step-by-step instruction of how to solve it.
I do my monologues with that. I do research on AI. Like I said, my monologue today was based on a AI search on Grok to see what my connections were to where my people went and why I had a German name, and which I do. Weinbaum means wine tree in German, and so Gerstein is also a German name, and we're kind of a combined families, Gersteins and Weinbaums. So, and then you got the Strausser over here, right?
Yep.
And so if you said, where were the Straussers from, where would you say?
Germany.
Germany. All Germany?
No.
Your mother was...
I mean, she's German, and I think she's got some French and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I mean, her dad was 100% German.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think her mom was 100%.
Okay. She was like Swedish or something like that, or?
No, she's mostly German.
Oh, okay.
I mean, his name was Nebling. Her name was Taylor. Those are both pretty.
Yeah. But they could do blood tests and all that other stuff. And the way I found out, we went to New York, and we looked up my grandfather, Michael Weinbaum. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and we found him.
Ellis Island.
Yes. And Ackerman. I don't know if it's Ackerman, or I think it's at Ackerman. And we found out who he was and stuff like that. So, and he came over from I think, around Odessa, Russia at the time. So now it's Ukraine. So I had a guy call me last night. He's been on the show. His name is Dr. Anthony Harper. He called me out of nowhere. And I says, he's a journalist. He actually does the Trump pressers, and he's there with Levette and all the other people. And I says, well, I've been looking for you. He says, I've talked to him before on the show and also otherwise. He says, they won't call on me anymore. I says, well, why not? He says, because I'm writing a book about anti-Semitism, and they don't want to talk about it. I says, really? He says, yeah, that, the gal there, she doesn't want to talk about it. I says, it ain't coming from her. I'm pretty sure it's coming from the White House, that they don't want you talking about it. I don't know why. I also don't know why. We're going to talk about this with Mark McCloskey a little later. Maybe even Chris Reed, who's going to be on in a very short period of time. About what happened to the 1-6ers. Why did they all get fired? Where are the investigations going? When are people going to be arrested? And so it takes a long time. Nobody really understands that. So
I sent information that I'm waiting for more about J6 with Mark and others to come out, because now we had those stats come out about the COVID vaccines. This is something that Tom Havlin revealed on this show, with the clots they were finding and all this. And now the VAERS report findings, they're getting the summaries from this finally, and how really deadly these vaccines really, truly were. And it's just astounding information the more it comes out.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely true. Well, our next guest is going to be on very shortly, and that is Richard C. Jeffrey. Is that right?
I think Mark's next.
They switched. I think
they switched. Okay.
They switched because he had to go to a funeral. A small person from his church died over the weekend, and I guess it was like a baby or something like that. Okay. So he's going. He went to the funeral. He's going to the funeral this afternoon. So we switched. Mark and his wife. I don't know if she's going to be on or not. But they're going to be on at. They're going to close the show again, 10:30. He likes closing the show because he always talks me out of doing my joke at the end, because he's always talking through it. So I have to talk through him. So, and we have some really agitated conversations, and I didn't think he was going to be back, quite frankly, but we talked, and he says, "Oh, no, I'm fine." I says, "You okay?" He says, "I'm fine. I can handle it. Whatever you say, I'm going to respond to, though." He says, "I get it." So we both get it, so it's fine. Yes, discussing things is always better than getting into a fight. I think that was that's a Jewish thought, and it's also a Christian thought, because that's what Jesus was known for, was sitting down and talking things out versus having a war or having a physical confrontation. Is that right? Yeah. And I couldn't agree more with that, And I haven't always been the guy to wait around for them to hit me first. That's all. If I knew I was going to get hit, I'd either hit him first, and if the odds were against me, I'd run. And if the odds were with me, I'd stay there and till the end. So I don't know. That's the way I am. I can't help what I was, and I did this all through my young years and in my old years too. I still do it. I did it Sunday. Okay, and if I'm going to die that way, okay, then my wife will be rich. Oh God.
Let's see the proof.
Yeah, see, look at that. She wants. Look at this. She is German. I tell you what. Where's the proof? There's the proof. Okay, we're getting now past 9:30. So
I just texted Richard, let him know we were ready for him, making sure that he remembers that time will switch. So we'll.
All right. Well, let's run another clip, and let's get him going. And so go ahead and play a clip and maybe call him. All right.
Jews are from Judea. This is why we're called Jews. So far, so good. Great. Jews lived in that land, Yehuda, Judea, for thousands of years. We had our kingdom, we had our government, we had our customs and traditions in that land, we had our temple in that land. Fast forward to the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire conquered the land of Judea, and the Roman emperor named Hadrian destroyed our temple and kicked most Jews out of the land. Some Jews were able to stay in cities like Jerusalem, Safed, and Tiberias, but a lot of Jews had to flee and go to other countries so they won't be dead. Hadrian then renamed the land from Kingdom of Judea to Syria.
Okay, we're back on the air, and we've got our next guest ready. He's a worldly man of space aliens, politics, and religion. He's an author. He's a good friend, and another Chicagoan who thrives in the government there, according to the mayor and governor of Illinois. Please welcome Richard C. Jeffrey. Richard, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm good. I'm good. Good. That's good to hear. You wanted to talk about gerrymandering mayhem that's going on.
I think that's very appropriate, considering the Supreme Court ruling on gerrymandering, and it affects a lot of states.
Yeah.
Not only does it affect a lot of states, but I think it will affect the midterm elections as well.
So how did it go with the Supreme Court?
Well, it was
6-3. I know that
6-3 ruling that they could not use race-based gerrymandering.
What about the one in Virginia? The gerrymandering there that got them net 5 more seats for the Democrats.
I know. There seems to be a gerrymandering war going on right now.
Yeah.
And Texas is involved, and California is involved.
Florida.
Sure. But let's go back to the beginning. I think a lot of people don't know where it came from, so I'd like to fill them in.
Okay, please.
Well, the term gerrymandering itself originated about 1812 when the governor of Massachusetts, but the guy's name was Elbridge Gerry, or Jerry, Elbridge Gerry.
Uh-huh.
And he approved a redistricting plan that created an oddly shaped electoral district so that he could gather as many Democrats together into one strong district and secure his win.
1812, you say, right?
1812.
Yeah.
I mean, we were still fighting the British back then. When this
yeah.
And so a political cartoon of his day showed Governor Jerry as laying out a salamander like district, and it just kind of weaved in and out. And since that time, people have come to know that when you do that type of thing, it's gerrymandering, which takes the governor's last name and combines it with a salamander.
Aha.
Gerrymandering.
Well, that's brilliant. You actually discovered that. I didn't know that. I didn't know what gerrymandering meant.
Most people don't.
Yeah. So we've had this with us now since like 18. Was this official constitutional law that was okay to do back then?
No, he was just winging it. He was trying to devise a way for his party to win. He was very much a person of the slavery movement.
He was a Democrat.
Yes, of course.
Right, which goes back to Lincoln, and the interesting thing about that is most of the people that get knocked off are Republicans.
Well, they are. The Democrats are a violent party.
Yeah,
and they're willing to kill in order to further their ideology, and that's what they were doing when they broke away from the United States during the Civil War.
Right.
So today's Democrats have been using that race-based gerrymandering to create like electoral boundaries that favor their party, and they've done a great job of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, California, my God. California, now Virginia, and all these other states. But we're getting onto this. We are learning about it, and we've got courts now who are somewhat in our favor because it's not a constitutional way, and you have a First Amendment right to have a vote and to have it count.
Well, in the case of gerrymandering, what happens is you disenfranchise people.
Yeah.
You take away their votes.
Yeah.
And of course that's anti-constitution.
Right.
And that was the reason that Biden's open door policy was enacted, because he wanted to bring in more minorities that he could strengthen those districts and create these gerrymandered huge districts.
Yeah, but that makes it sound like, okay, that's a good strategy. No, he was breaking the law.
Yes,
and
he
was creating a situation where our country could be lost and still can be. This is treason in my mind.
It is, but see, the Democrats call anybody a racist who dares to say that gerrymandering is unfair, because
so let them. Who cares? You still got to say it. You can't back off it.
That has seemed to work for them.
Well, it shouldn't. We should all be cognizant of what they're doing, and it's racist in its own end, because they're using race and they're using illegal immigration as a way to take over the country.
They are.
It's not an elective thing anymore. It becomes into a war.
In my state of Illinois, oh my gosh, they have totally gerrymandered it to the point where Republicans don't even stand a chance to win anymore.
Right.
And I sent a gerrymandered map of Illinois to the Dave Weinbaum Show on the Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Is it possible to bring that up?
We'll have it. We'll have it hopefully shortly.
And I've got the map up there, and you could see the 13th district.
Yeah,
this is the biggie. Goes from East St. Louis, your territory.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Wait, he's got it. I just saw it.
Share it real quick here. And
okay.
Of course, Messenger's being slow here.
There it is.
Okay. Let me get this shared, then we'll show it for everybody.
All right.
Thank you, JP.
I see a big swat of it going up from St. Louis to Chicago, right?
Yeah,
or close
it goes
to
from
or Champaign.
East St. Louis through Springfield, and then Decatur, and all the way up to Champaign.
Yeah.
I get no kick from Champaign. Anyway.
I'm gonna kick you next time I see you for that joke. I'll tell you that.
But anyway, take a look at that, and that is a gerrymandered district that shouldn't be held together. The only reason it's held together is it takes racial minorities and brings them together, and in that big group of racial minorities, they overvote the
Democrats
majority party.
Yeah.
I mean, without this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering about East St. Louis, it is primarily black, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why they started there.
Yeah. Okay. And there's some up in near northern Illinois.
Well, of course, Chicago.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they build on metropolitan areas because that's where minority populations gather.
Yeah, pretty much. Sure. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Thanks. So we're now looking at I think Texas has done something about it, and so has especially Florida. Florida's really on it. So we're all doing this. We're all doing it. So, and it's probably it might backfire on the Democrats because I don't think the Republicans have taken this seriously until now.
No, well, you know what? It's not something that we like to do. Republicans like to play fair. They do. They don't get out there and they.
That's stupid. Why do you want to play fair when the other guys, if he's going to use a gun, and they said this, if he's going to use a knife, we'll have a gun. This is a Democrat saying that. I think it was one of the AGs that said it. He was the Obama's AG, and I can't remember his name. But he do you remember? Okay. Anybody send me a clip of who that was, Eric or something like that.
The Eric guy.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the national attorney general under Obama. You could look that up. You could look it up. Yeah. So
but anyway, there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel, like you said. And,
I think we're fighting back on that, and I think we fought back.
Holder.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Holder, yeah. Okay.
Holder. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, Democrats across the country right now are in a cold panic. They really are.
Why exactly? Because of that, or other reasons?
The race-based gerrymandering game is just about to come to an end.
Well, the blacks watched the last election, and they also watched how President Biden composed his situation and saw what happened during his administration, which at the 2020 election, he hardly ever went out. He was in the basement all the time. Well, how did he win? And the Democrats are feeling like, how did this guy win? And now it's coming back on him. There's a lot of blacks now that Trump has convinced that he's the guy, that he's going to do them more good than anyone.
Well, here's the thing with Trump.
Yeah.
He wants somebody that's qualified.
Sure.
And he doesn't give a rat's tail about the color of their skin. And
I would agree with
that time and time again. He doesn't care whether they're men or women, what color their skin is, what religion. I mean, look at Kash Patel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's and I'll tell you, he is a true embodiment of Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream."
Yeah.
He just does not care about anything but qualifications.
Yeah. I don't know if that comparison to Martin Luther King is that good, quite frankly, because he was a bit of a socialist too.
Yeah, he was a bad guy, but I'll tell you what, that one speech kind of nailed it.
Oh, it was great. He was a great speaker. There's no doubt about that. But
he was a Marxist. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but he wanted the same thing as Mondavi wants in New York. So that's not a good thing for the country. It's not a good thing for the country. So
hey, I'd like to talk about something else.
Sure.
It's kind of interesting.
How about Anna Polina Puna?
Anna Polina Luna?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that, or what did you want to talk about?
Okay. An interesting subject that's been coming up lately. Historians are saying that President Trump has a genealogical connection to King Charles.
Yeah. How about that?
The third. And they say that Trump is actually the king's maybe 15th cousin.
Wow.
Tracing back to his Scottish ancestry.
I heard I was the 28th cousin.
Well, no, it's 15th cousin from what I
what
understand.
I've never heard of a 15th cousin. I mean, have you ever heard of anything more than a third, fourth cousin or fifth cousin? Anyone out there? Raise your hands.
Hey, look,
raise your hands, guys.
You trace it back far enough and we're all cousins, right?
Yeah. Except for the guys out in space that you know very well.
Exactly.
Yeah. The space aliens.
On the night of the dinner.
Yeah.
This kind of tickles me too. President Trump was given a gift by His Majesty.
Yes.
Charles III.
I know.
And it was a bell off of a submarine, a World War II, I think it was a T-class submarine. And the name of the submarine was...
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Weinbaum, that's for sure. It was Trump.
No, it wasn't Jeffrey.
It was Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? So who does that go back to? Does it go back to Uncle John, or?
You know what? I don't know the story on it, but very interesting that they had a submarine named the Trump.
And the king gave that to his 15th cousin, Donald J. Trump.
And I could just imagine the Canadians seeing all the love fest between Trump and the king, and they go, "Hey, we're the ones that didn't break away from England."
Well, and what about is it Kermer or Karmer or whatever his name is? Sturmer in London, whose city is going to hell in a very short period of time. It's already there.
Sturmer is a far left socialist.
Yeah,
and I believe he's totally at odds with His Majesty.
Okay.
So you have the king who thinks one way, and his prime minister who wants to take the country in a totally different direction. So they have problems there.
Yeah, and I think this was a very strategic thing. Almost everything Trump does is strategic. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would agree with that, and I'm still of the opinion that he knows exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, now you're saying that he can predict the future. Is that true? Do you think he is?
I think he knows has been briefed on things that are going to happen in the future, and that's why
By whom?
He can make bold moves and do them with impunity, because I think he realizes what the end is.
Okay, so you're implying that there is sources of his that may not be your typical sources, like the CIA.
Yeah.
You might have something else.
I've done research and I've talked to people about that, and there is some time travel element in this.
Time travel. Okay, so you got so he's getting people from the future down here to tell him who won the World Series or the Masters. Okay, right?
I believe so.
Okay, I want to be on his staff. I wonder if that's one of the things you get on the staff is you get the future.
Here I'm going back to my old Richard Jeffress self.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so back in the days of Abraham Lincoln, he was sent. Lockwood was sent. Ingersoll Lockwood was sent to Germany.
Yeah.
And
who was Ingersoll? Who was that, though? By the way, tell the people who Ingersoll is.
Ingersoll Lockwood was a lawyer,
right?
Back in the day of Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
And right before the assassination, he was sent to Germany to be the ambassador. And with him, he had an envelope that he was supposed to give to one Frederick Trump.
Okay, that's his grandfather, right?
Yes.
But that's his father, isn't it? Fred Trump?
No, it's his grandfather.
Grandfather, okay. All right.
And so Frederick, when he received this, he was told to leave Germany.
Yeah.
The first thing he did is he went to the Klondike, where the gold rush was going on.
Okay.
He knew where to go.
Yeah.
And he did not mine for gold. He set up a business where he sold tools and services to the miners.
Yeah.
He became a multimillionaire. And by the way, you'll like this, his partner was a man by the name of Levin.
Oh my, a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I always like that.
I thought so. but he knew what to do. And when he took his earnings from that venture, and he went to New York City.
Yeah.
And he began investing in properties that became very, very lucrative. And I think he was operating with the knowledge that he was given.
Okay, so what about the Lincoln assassination? Was you say that they tried to go back in time and
okay, guys, I have a book called Through the Mists of Time coming out.
All
it's
right.
going to be coming out late this summer.
Yeah.
And though it reads kind of like fiction, it's based on information that I've gleaned from well-connected sources.
Okay, and this is going to talk about the shooting of Abraham Lincoln, right? And
yes,
how
it is. As a matter of fact, they tried to stop it.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much.
Okay. This should be interesting. This should be very interesting. All right. Now,
what I will do is tell you that this book of mine ends up on the planet Mars.
We'll say that again now.
This book of mine ends up on the planet Mars.
The book ends up on the planet Mars. The
storyline.
The storyline. Okay, if you put the book on Mars, I don't know if there's enough people to support it there, but yeah.
So, Mars has a very special connection to Donald Trump, and that's why he has stated that he's going to send people to Mars.
So him and Elon are pals again, right?
I think they always were.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that he took out after him. Elon.
Here, look, you got to think about this for a second. Elon was being targeted by the left after his partnership with Trump.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And he had to push away. He had to push away hard in order to save his business.
Okay.
I don't believe the two of them were ever at odds.
Okay. Well, you know, people do have fights, and then they get together and make up. But you know, it's not. You can't always control your emotions by the fact that you are smart. In fact, the two are rarely meet together. So, you know, it's hard to believe that wasn't serious damage trying to be done to Donald Trump by one Elon Musk.
Oh, by the way, Elon Musk is an African American.
Yes, I know he is. I
get a kick out of that.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
yeah, there you go.
He's an African American.
He's an African American.
South
African
Africa.
Americans matter, you know, and so he can run on that. Actually, I don't think he's eligible to run for anything, is he? Because he's born in the South Africa.
No, I don't think he could. He can't be president. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But have you noticed?
Yeah.
Have you noticed Elon Musk's? Excuse me.
Sure.
Elon Musk's desire to get to Mars. He has a great desire to get to Mars, as does Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, there you go. You know, you got a president and a vice president all set up to rule on Mars. Okay.
Well, there's more there than meets the eye.
Yeah. Now you have a relative that knew a lot about what was going on in Nevada.
I sure do. His name was Lieutenant Philip Corso.
Okay. And
he was in charge, Dave, of all the artifacts collected at the Roswell crash.
Okay.
In 1947.
You're not talking about a truck here. We're talking about some other thing crashing.
Yeah, for your audience that doesn't know about the Roswell crash, a extraterrestrial, we'll call it that right now, an extraterrestrial craft crashed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947.
Yeah.
And of course the government denied it after about 2 or 3 days and said it was a weather balloon, but it wasn't. As a matter of fact, in the crash debris, there were humanoid beings, and my relative Corso actually saw them.
Wow. So did he tell you this, or did you find out otherwise?
Well, he has a book out that he sent to me.
Yeah.
He sent one, and it's called The Day After Roswell.
Ah.
And I encourage everybody to pick up a copy of this because it's an eye-opener.
All right. Okay, so what was that noise?
I think somebody tried to call, but they stopped.
Oh.
On the phone.
Well, okay. Well, even if we're doing a something like that, we can pause for it. Okay?
Well, we're using the phone to talk to Richard. So
okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. That's fine. So Anna Paulina Luna has evidence of space aliens like you do. So
she was privy to some very classified material, and she said that it has the earmarkings of not only extraterrestrial, but extra dimensional.
Wow.
So she has a lot to say, and I hope the government comes clean with all this. So
Well,
the
so do
American
I.
people actually learn about it.
So do I. Okay, I got my next guest coming on. So other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you and buy your books?
Okay. You can pick up one of my books. A is for America. A is for America at barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. I wrote a book of poetry to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country.
Well, that's cool. Okay. So I've got one more thing to say to you. If I can find it right now. What's a leadoff player's favorite cake?
I don't know.
Bunt. B-U-N-D-T. Okay.
Oh, Dave. Wait, Dave, did you know? I got to come back with one.
All right, quickly.
Did you know that they played baseball in biblical days?
Biblical days? No, I didn't.
Yeah, because the Bible starts out in the beginning.
Oh, you're worse than I am. Okay, thank you so much. You have a great weekend, okay?
All right. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we have our next guest on. He's new. He's a retired lawyer, I think.
Yeah, I host the Daily Controversy out of Huntsville, Alabama on WVNN, and I've been doing politics for a very long time. Used to work at Heritage Foundation, was a clerk at the Attorney General's office, worked for the Republican Party in D.C., but I've been doing politics since I was an adult, so I'm glad to be on your show, Dave. I've heard a lot about you.
Glad to have you, because we haven't met, and I just got the information from your agent, or I don't know what she is to you, but and I'm happy to have you here. And I'm looking at a lawyer who you're very young.
Well, I look young. I'm 42 years old. I practiced for 11 years, and then I went full-time into media. So I do full-time commentary. I love what I'm doing now. I mean, being an attorney was a lot of fun. Did general practice all over Alabama. Certainly helps me to understand a lot of the issues of the day, especially whenever I get to read sort of the SCOTUS opinions, trying to understand the dynamics of all the things happening and be able to explain those to an audience that might not have a legal background.
That's and you're on which radio station?
It's WVNN Huntsville. It's funny. My show is on the same time and at the same exact radio station as Sean Hannity was 30 years ago. My show's not nearly as good, but it was funny. They gave me that slot a couple of months ago. It's like, this is Sean Hannity's old slot, so you better impress us. So I guess no pressure, so that's fine.
Did he leave you anything, or are you working with the same office?
Well, it's the same equipment. They have not updated it, I hear. So
cool.
it's big. Well, they have a little bit, but it's funny because if you go in the studio now and you look at pictures from when he was there, they have not spent a lot of money on sort of upgrading the studio, but it's a great radio station. I also do a lot of work out of Chattanooga on 102.3. So really love what I do. It's fun, and do some media hits as well.
So you're from Alabama, is that right?
Yeah, born and raised in Alabama.
Where's your accent?
I'm from Southeast Alabama. I don't really have much of a Southern accent. Whenever you listen to the movies, it's that, like Forrest Gump, Alabama accent. That's generally like Northern Alabama, or also a little bit from like the Mobile area. Dothan is on where I grew up. It's right next to Georgia and Florida. We're about 90 miles from the beach, and some people here have a bit of a Southern accent. But my dad was born and raised in New Jersey. Now my mom, she's from Alabama, been in Alabama her entire life. So I guess growing up, we kind of none of us had accents, neither my brothers or sister. We just I guess when I went to D.C., everybody said I had a Southern accent, but anywhere else, they said you don't have much of an accent.
Yeah, I don't recognize anything. I'm from Chicago originally, and I think I lost my accent a while back. But I could always tell when somebody's from Chicago for some reason, or Chicago mainly. So, and I also feel sorry for them being not there anymore. Believe me. So you got Chris Comey. Let's talk about Chris Comey for a moment. Fellow lawyer, by the way. Not likely to get time with the 8647 Beach Rocks. What other charges do you predict on him?
Most of the time we see these charges, I mean, just historically, right? They might have an initial charge to get there. They probably have them. And I don't know this. I'm just a speculation, right? Now, whether you're going to be able to get them on that is very unlikely, in my opinion. People hate it when I say that, but just is really hard because of First Amendment implications. However, if he lied to federal agents about that, regardless of whether it was something that was illegal or not, those are very easy charges, because if they can show that you perjured yourself or lied to federal authorities, that's when they get you. And now a lot of times that's actually when you get people on stuff that people say, oh, you're never going to get them. But if he lied to them and said, oh, I had no idea what it means, and they can show with discovery that, yeah, he did know what he means, he did this intentionally, you got him on perjury, and that one is pretty cut and dry. And the one thing I think is really interesting is they're charging this. I believe this one's in North Carolina. If they charge this in D.C., it would be useless. I wouldn't do it in D.C. unless you have someone on murder or attempted murder. That's the only way you charge a Democrat in D.C. Okay, you'll get them on that. It's about it.
Well,
if it's in North Carolina,
all about that.
Yeah, North Carolina, you have a good shot.
Yeah, the 1-6ers know all about being in D.C. In fact, we have coming up next a guy you probably know, and that is Mark McCloskey.
One of the J6ers, right? One of the guys that worked heavily with that, right?
Well, he's the lawyer for all the J6ers right now. 1,583 of these. So he's coming up next with his wife. She's a lawyer. I'm all lawyered up today. I'll tell you that. So, which is great. I love talking to lawyers, because they're fun and they're smart, and I like arguing with them. So, like I said, you probably know them. What's your take on the 1-6 situation? He's upset because he doesn't think Trump's paying enough attention to what these people went through.
Well, one of the first things Trump did was, is he pardoned virtually all of them, and then he commuted the rest, which were the cases that he made, like some cases there that were not as cut and dry as like grandma's walking in, for 10 minutes and then doing solitary confinement. But everyone did get a pardon or commuted. And I think the problem is that you got to understand that Democrats still have considerable power in the United States, even though they don't have the Supreme Court, Congress, or the White House, because they have institutional power. So they have a lot of control in the corporate business world. So if those people had jobs in that kind of environment, probably likely not going to get them. Depending on where they live, too. If they live in blue states, they can get hassled all the time. So even having a pardon does not necessarily mean that your life goes back to normal, and it doesn't mean that the Democrats are going to stop trying to get you. It never means that for them. So I think Trump did about as much as he was supposed to do, pardoning him really quickly, even though politically it wasn't like a 50% plus popular thing. He did it because he felt it was the right thing to do. But I understand if I was an attorney working in that situation, I'd want to represent my clients to the fullest of the extent of the law.
Well, I agree. I don't agree with a lot of things that Mark says, but this, I agree with him that this is an important thing, and this is the MAGA. They arrested these people because they were MAGA, and there were no guns out there except for the cops, and one of the guys, Ryan Zink. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was also pardoned, but he was also had his life ruined. The FBI, he never went into the building. He was with his dad, who was running for Congress in Arizona, and he never went into the building. And they charged him up with this killing a DC cop. And finally, Trump gave him a pardon, and I think he refused the pardon, which would have sent it to the Supreme Court. This was Boasberg. You ever hear of Boasberg, the judge?
Yeah, anyone in conservative politics, especially if you're an attorney, knows Boasberg. He's the most corrupt. He's the most corrupt judge there is. But The funny thing about Boasberg is he gets overturned more than any federal judge ever. Like, he has that distinction of getting slapped down more than any other judge. He might be more than any other judge in American history. I don't know that last part, but if he stays long enough, he'll get it, and doesn't. He's awful. Imagine having to argue in front of. If you're arguing in front of his court and you're on representing Trump or anything conservative, you're going to lose. Doesn't matter how good you're arguing, you're going to lose. Yeah, they just are. Most of the time, unless it's something so obvious, you can't get away with it.
Yeah, if we don't have a crime, we'll find one.
That's what the Soviet Union used to say. That was a great quote. Is you show me a man, I'll show you the crime, and that's exactly what Biden did.
They turn this country into that.
Yeah, that's why we have Trump now, because people didn't like that for 4 years. That's what Biden did, whether it was pro-life groups or charging Trump 92 times or going after conservative Catholics or moms at school boards. It was all about, we don't like these people, let's put a crime on them. But the law is supposed to find crimes and then make prosecutions. Yeah. What Biden did is he found his political opponents and he looked for things he could pin on them, no matter how bad the charges were.
Let's talk a little bit about the COVID-19. Something has come out now with the VAERS report that says that 55 million more deaths occurred from taking the shots than did the entire flu vaccines. 55 more million of those than that. And we got Fauci's assistant. Now he's been indicted, and we're wondering what's going to happen here, because this is a lot of people that are dead, and this involves a lot of congressmen and politicians who took money from these drug companies sponsoring that.
Yeah, the VAERS report is interesting. My dad's a physician, so VAERS is going to be self-reported data. Some of that's going to be less reliable than the data that you look at. That's maybe a little more objective. I'm not talking objective from a left-wing perspective, but from doctors I consider really very conservative and I trust that weren't for this thing. But what we do know about Ron Johnson said this. We know that at least 16 children who had zero comorbidities that were very young were died from the vaccine. And the interesting thing is, we also know at the time that there were several European countries that would not give the vaccine to men under 30 because the risk of myocarditis was significantly more than the risk of COVID-19. And we knew from the very beginning that this was age striated. The average age of people that died in the United States from COVID were 78 years old. That was, and some people died younger. There was people with comorbidities. I get that. But the average age was 78 years old. So my dad's a medical director at a nursing home. So nursing homes did see higher death rates. But again, when you're in your 80s or 90s, if you get the flu or you get anything, that can be fatal, just because, we're mortal. We don't live forever. But they knew that. And they knew that giving it to kids, there was never any evidence that giving this to kids would be a benefit. It was always a lie. But what they didn't say is that the only way you could get these vaccines approved under certain statutes is it had to be for everyone. Well, they didn't have data for everyone, so they just did it anyway because, again, they wanted to get this out. They wanted to get a high return on investment. And even if you could argue that the first vaccine was effective for people that were very, very old, there wasn't any studies showing that it would ever be effective for children or young adults. The frustrating thing is not that if something comes out and you have a few months into it, people make mistakes. I want to be reasonable. We have better data 5 years, 6 years out, right? But we knew from the beginning this was age tri-rated. We knew that within a month of this coming out that this was age tri-rated. The average death in the Spanish flu was something like 26, 27. We knew that right away with the Spanish flu. We didn't close down the economy. This, we knew that even if you thought it was the worst thing ever, you could lock down people that were over the age of, say, 65 or have do something, not close down the economy. Basically, let it do what it needs to do. People could be careful, but that would have prevented massive inflation, probably $8 trillion in debt, and that would have been the smart thing to do. In some European countries that did that, are very successful now because they didn't have massive inflation, even though they have very high tax rates. So I wish you would have done that, but you can't fix the past, I guess.
Well, you also have the fact that there were a lot of the VAERS report you said might be inaccurate because
self-reported,
yeah, but there are a lot of other things that were taken as other diseases that weren't told about in the VAERS report, like these heart attacks and things like that. They were saying people were dying of other things other than the shots causing them. And so
well, here's the thing, and this is I want to defend the people that did this horrible thing in any way, but just so you know, if you give let's say you give a shot to 60 million people or whatnot, right? Yeah. And let's look at a number of people that got it over the age of 80. Well, what percentage of people over 80 were going to die in the next 2 weeks? Well, that could be, if you look at it, 10 to 30,000. Now, they may get technically said, well, they just got the shot and then they died, but they might have died because they had end-stage terminal cancer, right? But if somebody put it in, they had the shot and they died. That's the reason I want to go with the data that no one can argue with. That's the data that you can use. And this is the stuff from the things that we can cite. Like the ones I don't even think are as accurate, because I can use those and they're verified, and that's the stuff Ron Johnson uses, and it makes your point so much better. Whereas sometimes they have some arguments they could throw out there where they could try to discredit you, and I think some of them are spurious, but I'd rather go with arguments. Just as an attorney, I want arguments that are hardcore that nobody can attack, and that's why I don't generally use ones that have maybe a little bit of cracks in them.
Well, the cracks are in the fact that they weren't really tested. They were never tested, and you have a lot of evidence of these kids getting shot and dying, and you had a lot of babies being dying. There was a study done of the Pentagon of all these women that were having babies that were dead, and you have a lot of information about that. Plus, this became a way for government to control everybody.
Oh, that's true. I don't disagree with that, but that's what Ron Johnson said. Like we have children that we knew died. There's no doubt they died from the vaccine. We had an increase in miscarriages post-vaccine. We had all the things you said, but what you said were all from things that we have like absolute medical data that we can confirm, and there's not really much of an argument for, right? So that's completely true. Children died, miscarriages did go up. Complications from myocarditis killed kids that were young and healthy. We had the highest number of males playing like high school, college football have massive heart issues. I think that went up multiple times. I mean, it was ridiculous. All that stuff is true. The question is, who do we go after to get? It's going to be hard to get Fauci because he got that pardon that we know Biden probably didn't write because he's not in his right mind. But that federal pardon, I looked at that really carefully. Yeah. It is pretty extensive. It goes back quite a ways. Now, it's not that it's impossible. Maybe he did something while in a state, like maybe he was traveling to a red state, for example, and he did something illegal. You get him on that because pardons don't cover state crimes. Fauci's going to be difficult, but if you're smart, they're going after people around him, and maybe they have information of, hey, Fauci did this when he was, say, in North Carolina. Well,
they indicted his long-term buddy.
Yeah, that's what you do. You go after people close to him.
Right. You get whistleblowers, is what it's called, right? All right. So let me ask you a question about this. What is your take on the last two popes, Francis and Leo the 14th, telling basically, I don't think they were pro-life as much as we'd like to see, a Catholic pope, and also they were very criticizing the war in Iran and other wars that were going on in Israel. So,
yeah, look, the last good pope we had was Benedict. Benedict was a very conservative. He wrote this really great paper on how the priesthood took in all these people that were openly homosexual in the 70s and 80s, and how that. Yeah, and it was really bad. And that's right after that he resigned, which doesn't happen with popes. But yeah, Francis and this pope are what I would call I mean, they're basically socialists, and the Catholic doctrine, being a socialist will get you kicked out of the church. I mean, there's dogma against it. They were terrible popes. Francis, I don't even think Francis was as bad. I can't believe I'm saying this, as Leo. Leo is even worse. Leo met with David Axelrod to put talking points on Trump, and then he said, "Oh, I'm just talking about the gospel," but he also said something that was really against Catholic doctrine. He said the theory, just war theory, basically doesn't exist. Well, that's been Catholic doctrine for millennia.
What theory? Say that again.
Just war theory, meaning the Bible teaches that war. Look, war is. It's not that we think, oh, war is wonderful, but there are good reasons to fight war. World War II, just war, right? That's a great example of just war theory. He said that God does not listen to the prayers of those that basically launch wars, and God doesn't believe in, airstrikes. And it's insane. Like, if we would have followed Pope Leo's advice, Adolf Hitler would be ruling the world with the Japanese, because under his theory, if you use aggression to stop a war, you are guilty of the same thing the person starting the war did. It's insanely stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And all my most of my Catholic friends hate Leo. If you think I hate Leo, my Catholic friends can't stand the guy. They hate him, and they hated Francis, and they're just hoping that over time you're going to get more conservative popes, and you will, because younger Catholics that attend church regularly are extremely conservative. Only 2% of priests under the age of 35 are liberal. 76% are conservative. And so the younger Catholics, when they rise to power, you're going to get it'll maybe 30, 40 years, but you will get back to the doctrine of the church. These left-wing socialists, they'll eventually be gone, and hopefully the church can go back to what it was supposed to do. But that's going to be when young people in the Catholic Church that are very conservative rise up.
Yeah, but the point about this, Chris, is that they're letting these popes in, and part of it is the fact that they can't have wives. They can't have wives at all, and so you're going to get a certain amount of people that are homosexual, and they tend to lean to the left and do all the crazy things that the leftists do, and they're probably pro-abortion somewhat. I know they kicked out the last guy that was the abortion guy, that anti-abortion. I mean, no, not anti-abortion. He was anti-abortion. He was for life. And so, in fact, I had a conversation with the guy once because I wrote columns about people who were killing children and stuff like that, and I was against it. And Pope contacted me, Provone, I think his name was, and he says, "Nice, not bad for a Jew." And I said, "Well, thanks. It's kind." Then he comes back and says, "I think you need to be a Catholic." And he got a little nasty about it. And I said, "So you know what? I says I don't want to be nasty back to you, but I know three things: there is a God, you're not him, and neither am I." And that was the last I heard of him. And then he got fired by the popes in charge.
Yeah, one thing I will say about the Catholic Church is that they got to do a better job of weeding out people that are faux Catholics but are just radical anti-Semites, like Carrie Prejean. She's terrible. She doesn't know anything about Catholic. Candace Owens, she's in no way a Christian. She's a terrible person. She's godless as can be.
She says she's a Catholic.
So did Joe Biden, though. I mean, Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people say they're Christian, but if you're not living out the Christian faith, I mean, Jesus said, "Go and make disciples, teaching them to obey what I've taught." So if you're not in a relationship with Christ, actively trying to become his disciple, and it means something deeply to you, not that you don't struggle or fail, you're not a Christian because you kind of identify with Christianity. Same thing for you. A lot of people say they're Jewish, but I guarantee you a lot of them are not going to temple. They're not practicing the Sabbath. They're not doing any of the things that an Orthodox Jew would practice, but they say they're Jewish, right? I don't think Chuck Schumer is quote unquote Jewish in the sense that he believes anything in the Torah. So I have a real problem with self-identifying anyone. I don't care what they call themselves. Not that they have to be perfect. I look at how their lives are laid out, and if there's not consistency, again, you can struggle and fall. If there's no consistency, I don't really care what they call themselves. It's like somebody that's transgender can call themselves, a dude can call himself a woman, but you're not a woman, you can't be. And if you call yourself a Christian, but you don't do anything that Christians are supposed to do, you're just not a Christian, period, end of story.
Well, Chris, you got here's the other problem with hating Israel and hating Jews if you're a Catholic, and that they believe when they die they're going to go to who? They're going to go to Jesus. And Jesus was a Jew from the day he was born until he was put on the cross, saying his final words were, "Why do you forsake me, Father?" In other words, he still prayed to what we call as God, that Jesus was maybe not God, but who knows? I mean, when I die, I want to go visit with him, and I want to go visit with God, and find out what the hell was going on.
Yep. I would just look. The Catholic doctrine on anti-Semitism has been laid out pretty clearly. The actual dogma is very clear that yes. Israel, it has a right to exist. We any sort of anti-Semitic thing is we do not tolerate. And the bishops even the bishops that I don't always agree with made a really strong statement. The majority of Catholics, are the overwhelming number of Catholics that actually go to mass every week, don't buy into any of that crap. It's really, but sometimes the loudest people who probably don't ever go to church, or they may go Christmas and Easter, they pretend like they're hardcore Catholics. So what I don't want people to do is watch Candace and Carrie. It's like, is that what Catholics think? Just like people would watch Joe Biden and say, is this what Catholics believe? No, you can call yourself whatever you want. I look at what the majority of the people in the church believe, and the majority of the people in the church don't agree with that stuff, especially the ones that go every Sunday. But yeah, I will say this: we are seeing an uptick. It's not majority, but there is a massive uptick in certain parts of Catholicism and in certain parts of Protestantism. I'd say, like even some of the conservative side, and a lot of it is anytime in the church there's you see an uptick, like you see a Great Awakening, like in America, you're going to have some heresy. Second Great Awakening, heresy, Jesus movement. It's a lot of great stuff in all these three, right? But every time you see an uptick, there's always heresy, and it's what the scriptures teach is like the wolves are going to show up where the sheep are, right? So every time you see people coming back to church, making good decisions, if they're not getting discipled in the Word of God, then they're going to be led astray by heretics. And that's one thing we got to do better. Like in my, I teach a men's Bible study, and we had some guys that are newer believers. We're discipling them in the Word of God and trying to teach them this is what it means. And the point of that is so they can have peace and joy in their lives, but also so if somebody tries to sell them stuff that's unbiblical, they're going to know it's garbage, because what happens is people will come to the church and nobody reaches out to them, nobody brings them to a small group, no one helps them understand the Bible. And it doesn't work that way. And whenever you have people returning, but you're not getting good discipleship, and churches aren't kicking out people who they need to kick out, which is what my church does. We'll kick you out pretty easily if you're doing stuff really inconsistent, not repenting. That's what happens every single time. So yeah, the church has got to do a better job. We are seeing an uptick in this. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just the uptick is not a majority. It's not even close, but where it might have been 2% 5 years ago, it's probably somewhere around 8 to 10%. That's still extremely high, but I don't want people to think, the majority of Christians believe this way is all I'm trying to say.
No, I don't think so either. But I think there's a good portion of Catholics that are anti-Jewish, and therefore almost by definition anti-Jesus. And I think they're going to have a problem when they die. Personally, if they do believe they're going to go before Jesus, and Jesus is going to say, hey, why do you hate Jews? I mean, you want to get to heaven, and here you are talking bad about me half the time because I'm Jewish. I think it's a risk.
It's a real. I don't. Yeah, that's what I think. It's a really stupid move. Like, I think it's stupid. One, Israel's our probably best ally in the world, and we can't. NATO really doesn't help us out. Let's be honest with it. Israel's a good ally, and if you want 6 out of 66 books in the Bible, arguably at a minimum 64 of them are written by Jews, and maybe more, maybe 65, maybe 66. So virtually all of it was written by Jews. The original church was 100%, almost exclusively Jewish in Jerusalem until Paul was took it to the Gentile world. And as far as Catholics, they recognized the first pope as St. Peter, who was Jewish. So it is interesting. Now he was Christian, but he was Jewish. He grew up in the traditions. He's ethnically Jewish. So it is something that needs to be addressed. But the anti-Semitism, a lot of people just looking at this from a fair perspective. So there's been an uptick on some Republicans. Republicans are still 60% supportive of Israel. It used to be like 78% years ago. Amongst Democrats, it's like 8%. So, Republicans need to do better when it comes to the 18 to 35. There's been some lack of understanding of why Israel is important and why we should have a good relationship. But if Republicans tend to be very pro-Israel, if you look at the elected Republicans, there's only 3 or 4 in all of Congress that you can't depend on to be an ally to Israel. So it is happening for young Republicans, but as far as the GOP in total is very supportive of Israel, and the voting record shows that Democrats have abandoned it completely.
Hey, other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you?
You can go
buy your book or whatever. If you listen to your show.
Yeah, you can go to thedailycontroversy.com, but the best place to find me is go to The Daily Controversy with Christopher Reed on Spotify, Apple, iTunes. We're really on everywhere. And on X, it's just @DailyControverse. I couldn't get the Y. So if you look at Daily Controversy, we're on X. So that's where you can find us. And if you're in Huntsville, every weekdays 2 to 4 p.m. on WVNN.
All right. Trump may have said this. I'm not sure he did. Why turn over a new leaf when you can fix the whole world? All right, that's what I'm going to leave you with. And thank you for being on the show. Maybe get you back another time. Okay. I have a, if you're looking, well, I don't know if he can see this or not, but we have Mark McCloskey on, and I hate to make him wait because he's threatened to indict me.
No, I understand. I'll be on anytime you want me on, Dave. You just let Magdalene or me know, and I'd love to be on here. Love your show.
Yeah. All right, I was lucky. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
All right, thank you so much. God bless.
God bless you too. I'm going up against this guy. Oh my God,
all right.
He is slothing at this, and he's laughing at me. I can tell.
No, just smile.
What do you got? Your New York Mets shirt on, or what is that?
Yeah, it's just
is that a golf shirt? Oh, it's a
golf shirt, but it's a polo shirt.
Right.
You
don't play golf.
Don't play golf.
You're lying already. You're just lying already. It's just
here's your joke du jour. What was Ralph Lauren's real name?
Who? Ralph
Lauren, the guy that makes polo shirts.
Levitowitz.
Lipschitz, right? And he said he didn't think he could sell any clothes with the name shit with the word shit in his name, so he came up with something more banal.
I'm gonna give you as much time as possible, but I got to get another commercial. Do we do 2 commercials? No. So we're gonna do a commercial towards the end. So I'll start 10 minutes from now for you to let people know where they can hire you and Pat.
Okay.
Because you'll take about 20 minutes to say that, as you've done in the other shows. So, get it? Are we getting this? All right. Now I got to figure out where the hell I was.
Don't do that. Yellow sheet. I can almost read it backwards.
Yellow sheet? No sheet?
You had a sheet. Yeah. No shit and lip shit.
I don't know. I had changes being done. You're one of them, and I lost one of them. And there you are. Okay, so let me introduce you properly. 2 American heroes faced mobs of 350 Antifa and Black Lives Matter on their home domain and dismissed with 2 words: private property. Let's hear it for the McCloskeys. I only see one McCloskey, but let's hear it for both of them. Hit it. So do you still think that Trump didn't have enough proof to go to war with Iran?
Well, you can only totally obliterate something one time. And obviously, and Pete Hegseth yesterday, for example, in testifying in front of the Senate, and the day before testifying in front of Congress, could no longer even support the lie that was a basis for going to war against Iran, that they were an imminent threat. When questioned by senators yesterday and by congressmen the day before about the fact that the Trump administration claimed that Operation Midnight Hammer, we always like these names, Midnight Hammer, had totally obliterated their nuclear program, Hegseth says yes, but they still had the intent. Okay, so they had the imminent intent of rebuilding a program that our director of national intelligence, for example, and Joe Kent said didn't exist. But we totally obliterated the program, but they still had the intent. So the imminent risk of serious threat to the United States, causing us to expend billions of dollars, kill thousands of people, murder 168 schoolgirls, for which they've never apologized or even acknowledged yet.
I've never seen that in any press.
Was the imminent threat that they want to do something in the future.
Yeah.
If this is an excuse for
you discount their telling us for the last 15 to 20 years that they have the bombs, and there's one for Israel and many more for the big culprit, that's the United States. So if someone tells you that, if Japan said something like that, what did we do in Japan, by the way, when they did the Hawaii attack?
Yeah, I tell you,
what did we do?
We invited them in to attack Hawaii as a pretext to getting into World War II. That's what Japan did.
Where are you getting all this information that you're sure about? You seem to be sure about everything, and yet it doesn't relate to the
public
I've known.
The American public was grossly opposed to getting into World War II, and it took Pearl Harbor.
They were grossly against going to war with Britain in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true as well.
Yeah.
Probably most decent people are opposed to the concept of war. At least I am. But I can tell you this: going back to ancient examples isn't very useful. When you have Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent, the two people who are charged in our government with knowing threat assessments, both testified that there was none. But it's up to the president to decide what an imminent threat is. They both testified that Iran had no nuclear program.
Isn't it?
Had no intention. Yes, but if you make it up out of whole cloth, if you're
calling Donald Trump a blatant liar, is that what
he lies every single day about everything?
Really?
We're going to eliminate their civilization if they don't knock under in 24 hours.
Give me the president that isn't a liar then.
There's only one right now, and he's lost all credibility in the world. How do you negotiate with a foreign government when you kill their negotiators and then you say, if you agree with us, we will kill you. If you disagree with us, we'll kill you because we lure you into negotiations for the purposes of assassinating your leaders.
And
what kind of a government is that?
How did the Japanese war stop? How did the war with the Nazis stop?
How the war with the Nazis stopped? Because the Russian forces were moving in from the east and decimating their population. If you want to use that as a good example, why don't we talk about how Pol Pot stopped the war in Cambodia by murdering his population? Why don't we talk about why Saigon is now called Ho Chi Minh City? I mean, there is, we can go back to lots and lots.
So those who attacked those people thought they could win, right? And the other guys fighting back, did they not have a right to protect themselves?
When did Iran attack us?
Huh?
When did Iran attack us?
They attacked us the day they went after our people that were our followers, like Israel, like NATO, like others, were threatened by Iran with nuclear power.
Oh, okay. Except that our own government, our own
but
director of
you're saying
national.
2 people in our government said this,
Well,
and a lot of them said differently. Yeah. And you're saying Donald Trump is a big liar now. The guy you supported.
Let's go further. Let's pretend that back in 2025, when Tulsi Gabbard testified that there was no nuclear threat from Iran, let's say that was not true then. So then we launch Operation Midnight Hammer, and we totally obliterate their program.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, Donald Trump says, and Pete Hegseth says, we have totally obliterated their nuclear program. Mm-hmm. But they're still 2 weeks away from a bomb, right? Except that it's been totally obliterated. Not even Pete Hegseth yesterday could keep that lie alive. He now has to say, but they had the intention of going forward with their program.
Well, they said they had enough to take it to Europe, for goodness sake. Yeah. Take it to the Vatican. You wouldn't like that, would you?
Well,
the Vatican got bombed.
One of my favorite lies is that the government of Iran has been at war with the United States for 47 years. Dave, tell me how many Americans did Iran kill in the year 2024? None. How many did Iran kill in the year 2023?
You're asking me questions, and then you're asking me double questions before I have the chance to even
recognize it. How many American citizens did Iran kill in 2024?
How many what?
How many American citizens did Iran kill in 2024?
I don't know, but during the first Trump administration, they killed a whole bunch of them with side kind of explosions. These things that you put screws and nuts in. You mean killed a bunch of Americans?
You mean in Iraq?
They killed a bunch of Jews doing this kind of stuff.
And in Afghanistan?
And from 1923 on, they started killing Jews in Israel and threatening the United States with 7 or 8 countries backing them up.
1923?
1933. I mean, 2033. Oh. 20. All right, I'm stopping. 20. Shut up, I'm old.
You're not old enough to be president.
Yeah, right. It was 7/23 or 10/7/23.
There you go. You got it.
Bingo. What do I win? Another.
I don't remember. I don't remember
too fast. If I was a judge in court, I'd say, slow down. You're putting one thing after another. I got to consider this, and I'm sure you've done that before with judges.
How many? I'll go back in time because apparently they've been at war with us for 47 years. In, let's say, 2008, how many Americans did it
was wise for the president at the time to give power to the minority in Iran and put 70% of the population or 80% of the population in harm's way from them. They just killed about 40 to 50,000 people there.
Yeah, that's another big lie. It's just, it was 30,000, then it was 35,000, that was 40.
Well, now it's 42,000.
Why don't we call it 45 million? Because it'd be just as honest and just as true. This is
how do you know it's not true?
Well, because all independent people outside of the United States official government says it's not true. Only the United States propaganda machine.
Why is Europe so scared about the Iran thing? With them having a bomb that can kill them from Iran.
Let's go back, hearken ourselves back to those hallowed days of yesteryear, 2003, when we decided to launch an unprovoked invasion of Iraq because they had weapons of mass destruction. Not just 2 weeks away from weapons of mass destruction like Iran has been for the last 47 years.
Go back to Vietnam for that matter.
Well, Well, we can, but I'm talking about Iraq. We invaded Iraq and killed lots of people, caused millions of people to die, millions of human beings to die on an absolute bald-faced lie sponsored by Benjamin Netanyahu as related
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes, he was the one advocating
war with them
for the war with Iraq on the basis his government was what gave our CIA the information that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, causing the United States, Colin Powell, to stand up in front of the UN.
The head of the CIA, Panetta, as I recall, said that's right.
Well, except that we know that it is not right. That it was.
Why wouldn't they check up on if they thought it wasn't true? Why didn't they check up on it? What does the CIA do, anyways?
What the CIA does for a living is undermine and destabilize countries and cause the death of millions of people. And that's what the CIA does. That's why we're in Vietnam. It was a private army of the CIA that started the war in Vietnam. That's why the Shah was in power in the first place, because the CIA staged a coup. That's why Zelensky's in power in Ukraine, because the CIA created a coup. What the CIA does for a living is it destroys nations and manipulates things for its own benefit.
That takes some of the blame away from Israel, for goodness sakes. You got Israel on your mind, and now you got the CIA on your mind.
And there's a difference.
Are there anybody that's honest in government?
Yeah, the people that get fired from the government for telling the truth.
Well, okay. Because I know Kemp has been called a liar by Dan Bongino.
Well, and a source like that, how could you possibly?
I don't know. Is there something wrong with Dan Bongino?
Look, I'm Dan Bongino. My eyes will bug out of my head.
You're gonna make fun of him?
I certainly am. He's such. Listen to this. Okay, I got to tell you, it is so funny. Not funny. It's frightening because it's so true that our current administration has got over 35 former Fox broadcasters in the administration, including, as of yesterday, Dr. What's her name? Sapphire, who went to the Ross University of Barbados for medical school, right? The Ross University of Barbados was the only medical school she could get into in the world, and now she's our Surgeon General. Coincidentally, she happened to be on Fox News. You get Pete Hegseth as Secretary of War. You got Dan Bongino as Assistant Director of the FBI. You got Sarah Carter, who's a very nice lady, and she's a friend of mine, but she's now the drug czar. What does she know about drugs? You've got all these people that are just talking heads from television that have absolutely no legitimate basis for running the gosh darn world, who are now these people in the cabinet and in the administration, who their only claim to fame is that they used to be on Fox News and they said pleasant things about the president, so he rewards them with positions.
Are you just hoping to get Joe Biden or Kamala back?
I'm hoping to get an honest government. I've been saying, and I've said this for the last.
Well, to your point, there's never been one.
Well,
that's what you're saying. You are negative against everything.
Very, very stinking
that Trump is doing.
And even politicians that I had great respect for, like Ronald Reagan, his cabinet was full of nothing but Bechtel Corporation, insider, military-industrial complex billionaires. This has been. A friend of mine said the other day, no matter who you elect, you get John McCain, and a truer word was never spoken. I've been saying in the last 2.5, 3 years, I've been giving this lecture, and at some point, I ask the audience, how many people in this audience believe that there is a political solution to our current crisis? In giving that speech hundreds of times, exactly one hand has gone up, and that guy didn't understand the question. I mean, the problem is that you vote for your folks, and you vote for Donald Trump to stay out of foreign wars and to focus on the America first and the American economy, and all we get is wars, wars, wars. He pledged that he would reduce the cost of energy by 50% within 12 months of getting elected. He said it 100 times. I make my pledge to hate me. You have a right to hate me if I don't make this happen. I will reduce your price of energy by 50% within 12 months. Look at what's happened, right? And as a result of what? Foreign interventions, right? Exact opposite of what we elected him for. And so the problem is that these people don't run the country. The people that run the country are the contributors, the people that give hundreds of millions of dollars here and tens of millions of dollars there. And everybody is controlled by the deep pocket PACs and the political organizations, and everybody is selected for the ability of the powers that be to control them and have no independent government.
Well, I can prove that's wrong.
How do you prove that's wrong?
I gave you $3,000 or something like that to run for office, and I don't control you.
Give me $3 million and I might get elected. Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference.
Come on. Well, no. I mean, is the amount really the point? The point is that I gave you some money, and you ran for office. You didn't win, but you know what? Okay, I'm happy I did it because I liked you.
Well, I'm still paying you back, right? I'm on your show. That $3,000 went a long way. Totally joking. The bottom line is that the powers that be, and MTG was talking about this on Tucker's show yesterday. Yeah. That the powers that be get together and they select the candidates.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to do a commercial. It takes about 5 minutes, and you'll be back. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right.
No problem. You can think of your next insults while we're doing this. Okay?
Insults. I'm complimenting you, dude.
Go ahead.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry. for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
All righty, we are back on with my friend, Mark McCloskey.
Yeah, Dave, just think about this. I campaigned for Donald Trump 3 times. In the 2020 campaign, Patty and I were on the Team Trump bus with Tommy Hicks, the vice chair of the party, and Jason Smith. And, we were for a while, Patty and I were the campaign in Pennsylvania. Eventually, the Team Trump bus were just Patty and myself. We were doing 7 organized rallies a day on behalf of the president. You imagine what it would take to have turned me around to where I would say what I said today, that everything he says is a lie, and that he's on the verge of destroying not just this country, but plunging the world into a worldwide depression with this assault on Iran at the request of Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, this is to get me to turn around on Donald Trump is not a small thing.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And I would not be saying these things if the lies weren't real, if the threat wasn't real, and if I have not come to a conclusion that our government is now absolutely and totally controlled by people that are not thinking of the best interest of the United States of America and of Americans, but rather some personal desire for conquest for greater Israel. And it's become...
Why would they give a damn about greater Israel when it's 2% of the Jewish population totally is 2%, 0.2% of...
Well, I'll tell you why. Because everybody gets campaign money to tunes of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars.
They get that from everybody. They get that from all sorts of institutions, from the Catholics, from the Christians, from the Jews. Yeah, they get money, sure. Yeah. So what are you supposed to do? How are you going to change our system for the better?
Well, I would tell you what I would do is I would eliminate the exception for PACs and corporations to give unlimited amounts of money. You and I as individuals can only give a small, tiny number to a political campaign, but thanks to Citizens United, that Supreme Court decision, corporations and PACs can give virtually unlimited amounts of money. And so they've taken the power away from individuals, from people like you and me, and given it to the big boys to control the outcome of elections through hundreds of millions of dollars. You talk about Glenn Youngkin, for example. Everybody touted his grassroots campaign in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin's grassroots campaign in Virginia cost $125 million, right? $125 million. What did the campaign for Senate that I lost here? I thought I spent a lot of money. I spent peanuts. I mean, the big boys spent $45 million, right?
Well, you're resentful of that.
No, I'm not resentful of that. It is unfortunately what rules the world.
So you learned the lesson. Right?
How many foreign governments have special statutes protecting them? Only Israel. Governor Kehoe signed a bill last week giving the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism as the official policy of the state of Missouri, and requiring all educational systems in the state to follow that definition. There is no other government. There's no other country in the world.
What is the definition?
Definition. All right. It is, I have it right here.
Okay.
It is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism. Amongst other things, it says one of the things that's anti-Semitic is a myth about Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions, despite the fact that we now have this special category only for Israel, using symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism, e.g. claims that Jews killing Jesus. Well, all 4 Gospels describe in great detail the Jews killing Jesus. So in effect, Governor Kehoe
the Romans had nothing to do with that, right?
Well,
the Irish had nothing to do with that.
All four Gospels go into great detail about how the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, even his wife, pled with the Jews, saying that he could find no offense, no capital offense in this man. Why do you want to execute him? And the Jewish
that wasn't their choice. That was the emperor's choice.
Anyway,
according to what I read about these chosen things in reels and stuff like that,
Well,
I don't know. I don't think we have that.
In
Yes,
effect,
we got 1 minute.
Okay. In effect, the state of Missouri and many states now, almost all states, have defined anti-Semitism as being a belief in the Gospels. Okay, that if you believe the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that the Jews in fact killed Jesus, you're anti-Semitic by definition now under the law in Missouri. And I suspect that a lot of Christians actually believe that because it's what the four Gospels tell them in great detail.
What did Jesus tell them?
Jesus told them, Jesus told them, love your enemies as yourself.
And he also said on when he was being killed, why do you forsake me, Father?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really hard to know what the truth is really, but Israel is a small country and it's a very special country in my opinion. And I got to go.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. I appreciate it. We're still friends.
Absolutely.
I'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next week.
Take care, Dave.